Hello and welcome to the 10th iteration of Friday Night Dirt Night here on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. Randy Chenowth, Cam Walsh, and Hugo Louis bringing you all the action as we get things kicked off with the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series live from Phoenix, and then we move over to the late models at Knoxville, followed by the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Cars at Volusia. Cam, it's been a few weeks since we've been at this Phoenix racetrack on this Rallycross layout. It was fireworks, drama, and fortunately not the greatest racing then. Hopefully things go better this time.
Yeah, and I can say I'm really excited to be back at PIR. I really enjoyed this circuit as a Rallycross circuit. I love the long right-hander that's on the dirt surface on the drag down to the start-finish line. I love the start because it's always dramatic, and I'm really hoping that the time that these guys have had in the car, they've gotten even better at racing.
So taking a look at some of the stats, let's take a look at your current championship standings. And Mitchell de Jong, well, I guess the only way to summarize it that he is dominating this championship, 1,567 points to Sindre Setsas's 1,144. So Mitchell having an absolutely perfect season. And if you want to know any idea how perfect, take a look at the stats for Mitchell since this content release. Dirt Road, 43 starts, 43 wins. So Mitchell has not faltered a single time, not only in these Friday Night Dirt Night broadcasts, but even in any of the other regular racing that happened here in the nearly 3 months since this content has been released. That isn't a, I think, probably not to soon be repeated record, Kim.
I mean, it's one of those things where I can't imagine how lucky he has been. At some point, somebody is going to run into the back of that Volkswagen and it is going to break. That is just how good as starts he gets.
Did it last week, and it
was fine. No, not at all. I mean, someone is going to have to flip over the Volkswagen Beetle and put it on its roof. That is the only way, at least I can see, that something is going to happen, or a lap car, or an issue, or something. I just can't see him making a mistake anymore.
The qualifying is currently underway, and right now Mitchell is actually, I believe, 5th quickest with a 36. Oh no, I take that back. Those are practice times. He's not yet put in a qualifying lap, so that was my fault there. He was quickest in practice though at a 36.7, so and he's working through the tail end of the lap on his first hot lap, and let's see what he does through this long final corner here that leads up to a little bit of an awkward chicane on the run down towards the start finish line, and Mitchell's going to cycle through, and he's going to go to a 36.7, puts him top of the boards. We saw him falter last week, Cam, and he seemed to be a little bit more well practiced, but here comes Stelian Chipolewski through that final sector on the racetrack as well. He only needs a 10th and some change to improve and get that pole position away for now, and he is not going to improve. In fact, he nearly mirrored his first time, but no improvement there for Stelian, which means that Mitchell, I think, is going to be safe. Not a lot of other people, I think, that can really challenge Mitchell to cycle through on laps.
Yeah, and it must be noted that Stelian is, of course, driving the Ford Fiesta, and Mitchell driving that Volkswagen Beetle. So as far as I'm concerned, that's running good there. We'll have to see. Maybe that Ford. That's the solution, Randy. The weight of the Ford is what's needed to throw the Volkswagen of de Jong out of the way.
Might be. Who knows here as people running themselves through. Bobby Zielinski still owes us a qualifying lap. He's on his second lap, which means that something happened on his first that invalidated the second. He's working through the final sector now in that bright orange number 5 Volkswagen Beetle, which he's described the last few weeks as the bright orange punching bag. He's going to come through down this last final stretch, come across the timing beam, and he is going to go to a 37.6. So he puts the time in, but only improves by a couple spots. Georgi Zazan is working through the final sector as well on his final lap with a 37.7. It's his best time. Let's see if he's going to improve and maybe jump up a few more spots. He goes to 38.3, so no improvement from that 13 car.
No, not at all. And I mean, the lap times that are coming in are pretty straightforward. Coanda not actually doing that well outside of Mitchell de Jong. I mean, Nathan Lyon and Setsas have put in fantastic times. You do have Jake Hewlett. But I do also notice no Rens Broekman today. Perhaps he's getting tired of his Volkswagen being the one that's put on the roof. I do notice a couple of new names, Adam Peter and Georgi Zajon.
Yeah, we're going to have fun with that name.
No, I'm pretty sure well, actually, it's Eastern Europe Club, not French, so, uh-oh.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
It's like the land from Mr. Molotovchikov from the Blancpain GT days and the Curb Surfers team. That's going to be a name that if he starts ending up on broadcast, people will likely have to put a compilation together of us mispronouncing it. But regardless, I think most people have run.
Compilation.
Yeah, there is one from Molotovchikov of people doing just that, which I believe I actually star in. But regardless, I believe everyone has run their allotted qualifying laps. Stillian's out there messing around. He's the only car. So someone only ran 1 or 2 laps and pulled it off. So we're going to have to wait the next 20 seconds. But regardless, we have our grid set. And Mitchell managed to just eke out the pole position this time, Cam. Not faltering like we saw 7 days ago.
Nope, not at all. And I mean, really all that means he's going to be starting on the pole in heat number 1 instead of heat number 2. Which means I'm pretty confident Mitchell DeYoung is going to win heat number 1 instead of heat number 2.
So, as that counter clicks down to the 5-minute mark, that's going to bring qualifying to a close, and we are going to have your starting grid here for heat race number 1. Same format as always, 7 or so cars, top 4 transfer, 5 laps, you must joker once. And the joker here is a fun little shortcut that happens in the middle section of the lap. Mitchell DeYoung is on pole with that 36.738, with Sindre Setsas in 2nd, James Eden's 3rd, Connor Parisi in 4th, Adam Elby in 5th, Bobby Zielinski in 6th, and Georgi Zedzan rounding out this 7-car heat. Just waiting to get all these cars onto the starting grid, and then we will be racing here on a Friday night dirt night on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. Thank you for tuning into these races all season long. They've been so fun to cover. Just such a very different format to anything else we do on the RaceSpot TV network, as we just wait for one more car to get themselves out there on the grid, and then we will be going here in this first heat race. That Radicals Volkswagen of Sindre Setsas now takes the grid, and I believe that's everybody. Bobby Zielinski pops in the back. Cars put themselves into gear. And we are go for dirt night. It's not a great jump from Mitchell DeYoung. They're going to be 4 wide, maybe 5 for this race lead through these first couple corners. Eden backs out of it. Sindre Setsas in the wall. Parisi, he gets turned around in corner number 1 and thrown into the tire barrier. But Mitchell DeYoung is going to keep the race lead. James Eden's involved in the secondary incident as well. Georgi Zadzan, he's got sent around also. But I think most importantly, Mitchell's gotten away clean. Adam Elby is through clean. Bobby Zielinski as well. Sindre Setsas, the only one of those drivers who pretty much got through that opening lap incident, the only one not taking the joker here.
Yeah, and this has been a pretty wild start. It was a calamity of basically 2-car incidents, and not what you want to see at all. I mean, Mitchell DeYoung, well, again, unless he does something, which he did just clip the barrier there, which he did just put some damage on the right front of his machine, so he's got to be careful there. Otherwise, I think perhaps Phoenix is one of the racetracks where you seriously can do damage to your car very easily by hitting those barriers. For some reason, they just seem to hang out a long time here. Setsas does take the joker on.
Sindre takes his joker and jumps Bobby Zielinski by a good margin. Going to be racing with Adam Elby for second. Doesn't quite pick it up, but he gives Adam a bit of a shot to that rear bumper down this stretch here in towards corners number 1 and 2. Corner number 1, pretty much the braking zone for the second corner. Sindre locking up. I think Adam a little bit earlier on the brakes than Sindre would like, through that hairpin there as they bring them back down onto the infield sector of the racetrack. Now here they come up to the jump. Sindre has to find some way somehow to get around Adam, but this is one of those racetracks, Cam, where there's not a lot of easy passing zones trying to get things done around here. The only good one is really going into corner number 1.
Yeah, and this section here, right, as well. I mean, and you can actually see how Setsas is able to find the grip, and then he just leans the car in it. This is the important thing. You cannot be scared. You have to put your door on another car, and that's a very important skill that these guys have been learning. I mean, look at these guys. They're running side by side, 2, 4 corners now, and Elby tries to get perhaps the runaround. He doesn't do it. They both jump over the curb. That's a 1 position up from Sindre Setsas, and if we were watching this, Randy, weeks and weeks ago, one of those guys probably wouldn't have up in a barrier.
Very well, possibly, as Mitchell DeYoung, he's going to come through the final sector on lap number 4 and 5. Going to be getting the white flag here in just a moment. Sindre pushes a little wide through this long right-hander. That might give Adam Elby a bit of an opportunity. He slotted alongside for a moment, but Sindre had good momentum up along the top side of the racetrack, almost as if there was a cushion out there and we were watching the late model cars earlier or something. But final lap here in heat race number 1. Now coming to you down into this first sector of the racetrack. Sindre has himself a car length or 2 on Mr. Elby. Now up to the jump they come. We've seen last lap dramas here in the past, and Sindre is going to pretty much nail it at him. Elby gets thrown a little bit to the right. Got a little too close to comfort for me to those tire barriers, but all your drivers going to work themselves through this final sector on the racetrack. Elby's not going to be close enough, but Mitchell de Jong is going to cycle through and win heat race number 1. Sindre is going to hold on to P2. Adam Elby coming home 3rd, and Bobby Zielinski will punch his ticket directly to the feature, where Connor Parisi, James Edens, and Georgi Zadzan are all going to find themselves having to run their way in to the consolation race and trying to be one of the 2 cars to transfer there. So those are the top 7 after heat race number 1. And now let's take a look at the starting grid for heat race number 2. You have Stilian Chipolevsky on the pole with this one, with Nathan Lyon in 2nd, Jake Hewlett 3rd, Fabian Menetre in 4th, Carl Jansen in 5th, and Adam Peter rounding out the 6-car field. Again, same exact format. You got 5 laps. We'll have to joker once, have to finish in the top 4 to go directly to that feature. Everyone's on the grid. Cars are in gear. Revs begin to build. We got a bit of a jump from a couple drivers. Nathan Lyon jumps a little early, as well as Carl Hansen. That might cost them big time if they cross the threshold and if the sim decides that they jumped early. And Stillian leads down in corner number 1. Spinners in the background. That's Carl Hansen and Adam Peter. Both of them halfway sent around, but no major contacts. They were 3 wide between Menetre, Hewlett, and Nathan Lyon. And Stilian Chipolevsky, he's going to lead down into the joker for the first time.
Yeah, that incident with Carl Jansen and Adam Peter, that was all Carl Jansen. He just totally drove like Peter was not going to be on the inside there. So unfortunate for Peter, as Nathan Lyon, he gets into Carl Jansen and gives him a massive shot. So quite a couple of exchanges here as everyone sorts themselves out. It looks like Chipolevsky's got a pretty good run right now, but it's going to be Menetre versus Hewlett. That is the battle to watch.
And this is going to be for the last couple transfer spots as well, I might believe, as the drivers behind have not yet taken that joker lap, and Fabian Menetre continues to lead as they head up over the jump. And of course, Mr. Hewlett was one of the drivers who had issues with that jump last time we were here, and almost gets caught out by it as well. Carl Hansen, he's going to take the joker. Let's see where it's going to spin him out. I think he might be just ahead of Jake Hewlett. He's going to try to work the top and get momentum, but that doesn't end up panning out. He might get a good run, but you have to get right back onto the brakes. It's only single groove racing through that chicane, so you cannot work the momentum. And Carl Hansen, he's going to fall back into that 4th spot after trying to make that aggressive move on Hewlett. Fabian Menetre has been able to stretch that gap as well. And now I think if you're Carl Hansen again, you have to look at the gap that you have to Nathan Lyon and Adam Peter behind, and I think that you're more than safe if either of those drivers joker. If you're Carl, I think you just take this 4th place finish and don't push it and try to potentially even force a mistake that could catch you out.
Yeah, but we did see earlier with Setsas in that last heat of what you can do when you can't make that pass. Perhaps maybe it might be worth going up to 3rd position just to get some racing experience, get yourself used to running this racing circuit at passing speeds. But it almost, to me at least, looks like that last lap by Hewlett was 0.3 of a second faster. Of course, Hansen had to get on the binders at some point. I would personally be perfectly content with chilling back in the 4th position just to get into the finale, but you know, hey, I'm not the one out there driving.
Through the final sector for the 4th of 5 laps in this one, as they're about to head themselves down this front straightaway. Your top 4 is Stilian Chipolevsky, Menetre, Hewlett, and Hansen. Nathan Lyon is still back there and lurking, and I believe he still owes us a joker. Indeed, he does. His first lap time was not validated, so I actually think no, that's the same for everybody, so I'm not sure what the deal is there for Nathan Lyon. They work themselves down into the infield section of the racetrack. Chipolevsky is going to get up and over the timing beam right here. Actually, Stilian's time did, so I think we might have 2 people who invalidated, both Carl Hansen and Nathan Lyon, both getting a penalty on their opening lap. Probably the 2 cars that we saw jump to start. But through the final sector for that Apex car is Stilian Chipolevsky. Down towards start finish, he's going to take the win in heat 2, followed by Fabian Menetre, Jake Hewlett, Carl Hansen, and Nathan Lyon. However, that finishing order is not official, because if there's penalties to fall on that Radicals Volkswagen and that orange Ford Fiesta of Nathan Lyon, they will not be in the, is possible that they will not be in the top 4. And indeed, Nathan Lyon falls out of it, and that means that it's not a good night for them, is it? As the consolation race
was the one that was dropped.
Carl Jansen is the one who actually got dropped from that, so excuse me. But we have the starting grid here for your last chance qualifier. 5 cars, 6 laps, half the Joker once. Top 2 transfer to the feature event. Connor Parisi starts on the pole with Carl Hansen in 2nd, James Edens in 3rd, Nathan Lyon in 4th, and Georgi Zadzon in that 5th position. Cars put themselves into gear, lights are on, just gotta wait for the greens. And we are go in the last chance qualifier. Connor Parisi gets a decent jump. Carl Hansen on the top side. Going to try to give him a bit of a squeeze. A little bit of contact in the back, but nothing major. Down into corner number 2 now for the first time. And Connor going to work the inside. Carl's trying to squeeze him. Bit of contact, bit of tapping. And Connor's not going to be able to take the Joker if he wanted to. That means Carl Hansen, he's going to have your race lead for sure. As you see that red at Ford Fiesta go up and over the jump with 2 cars closely following of Georgi and Nathan as they work themselves through the final sector. James Edens, he also jokers here as well. So those 2 of Carl Hansen as well as James Edens, they will lead here as one of them gets into one of the tire barriers. That sends that out into the racetrack. That might be a little bit difficult for someone to get around. Doesn't look like he's going to catch anyone out. But I think Connor Parisi right now, Cam, he has plenty of clean track in front of him. He just needs to push, maybe try to reel in James Edens and then use that Joker to jump him.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to remember every single time that we always do these is Nathan Lyon does take the Joker. The 2 finishers that are the top 2 in this constellation always go on to do well in the feature, as it was Ajon who pushed Lyon into that tire barrier. That's why you can see a little bit of front end damage on Lyon's Ford. He just took that Joker, but the battle right now between James Edens and Connor Parisi, that one is the important one. That is the battle for the final position. That's the go spot.
So these guys battling wheel to wheel for a spot in your feature. Carl Hansen is pretty much skipped away free as Connor is going to try to fight with James Edens for the 2nd spot. Most of these drivers have already jokered, so they're going to have to make it happen the hard way. Nathan Lyon behind is also jokered as well, as a little bit of a mistake from James Edens has opened the gap up and brought him in towards Nathan Lyon. A little bit further behind, Georgi Zadzon. He's someone we still have to keep in mind. That number 13 car still owes us a Joker, Cam, and that means if he can pick up any time on these guys, that's just going to be a freebie for him until he ends up taking that Joker lap. And looking at the gap from here, when he eventually takes it, if he doesn't reel in much more time, he's going to be roughly even as this trio is still very close as they head through the infield.
Yeah, and Edens was not able to do a good job over the ramp, and this is the 2nd time now Edens has gotten a little squirrely under it, as it does look like Edens gets a really good run through it. Zadzon does not take the Joker this time by, and Lyon was able to close up, but he was not able to capitalize on it. So unless Carl Jansen makes a mistake, it is really just going to be if anyone can pass Connor Parisi to make it into the feature event.
The 2 laps to go as they work themselves down through the hairpin and then into the quick left-right. And James Edens still lurking on the back of that Ford Fiesta, trying to make anything happen. Let's see if Georgi's going to go for the Joker this time through. No, he's not, so he's going to save it for the final lap. And I think that's smart, as these guys have gotten themselves stacked up together, and I think a mistake is going to be very, very likely from one of these 3 through this final sector of the racetrack and down towards start-finish as they get the white flag. Carl Jansen is pretty much out clear out in front as Connor. He's going to have James Edens for company. He opens the door on the inside. Edens, though, doesn't step through it. I think if I'm Edens, the nose was there, and I would have kept it down there. Connor, lucky to not get himself spun down through this final little chicane for the final time, and Nathan Lyon is going to clip one of those tire barriers. Up to the jump. This caught out a number of drivers in the last chance qualifier last time, and it's going to get the white car of James Edens. He's now out of this one. Nathan Lyon, he's going to be the sole challenger for Connor Parisi. See Georgi in the background. He takes the Joker way too hot. He's not going to be a factor. Carl Hansen, he's going to win this B main. Who's going to be in 2nd, though? It's going to be Connor Parisi in that Ford Fiesta taking home that 2nd spot. So mistakes can be costly in these races. But with that, we have your we have your feature event gridded for you and coming here in just a moment. 10 cars will be challenging for the race win tonight. Mitchell de Jong in the 3 has to be the favorite, with Stelian Chipolewski starting on that 2nd spot. 3rd, you have Sindre Setsas. Top 3 drivers, all very, very quick in these Rallycross machines. Fabian Minatre will be rolling off 4th, with Adam Elby in 5th. Jake Hewlett is in that 6th spot, with Bobby Zielinski 7th. Adam Peter is going to be 8th, with Carl Hansen 9th, and Connor Parisi will be rounding out the 10-car field. Thank you for tuning in on once again here on RaceSpot TV and iRacing Live for Friday Night Dirt Night. We love doing these races. We love showing you all the action from the best drivers, both in the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series, as well as the World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model and Sprint Car Championships. Field is now set on the grid. I believe we have all 10 cars out there. And will this be the one? Will someone finally dethrone Mitchell de Jong? Let's begin to build. And we are green. It wasn't a great jump for Mitchell in his heat race, but he gets a slightly better one this time. Sindre Setsas is a man on a mission, and he gets tapped. Prostelian Chepelevsky, Fabian Menetre in the background. He gets sent around as well. Connor Parisi, he's facing the wrong way. Couple cars already caught facing the way they would not want to be. Stelian Chepelevsky also got a little bit of a shot. And Mitchell de Jong is going to take the Joker here on lap 1, as well as Adam Elby, Sindre Setsas, Jake Hewlett, as well as Carl Hansen. They hit the jump on the default layout for the first time here around this racetrack. Bobby Zielinski also opting for the Joker, but Mitchell, he has a lot of room to work with after that bit of a stack up and through the first sector. And I think that's Bobby Zielinski I see making mistakes on the run towards start finish, and Hewlett's harassing the back of Sindre Setsas.
Yeah, and at that start there, it was Sindre Setsas and Fabian Menetre who were both had made contact from Adam Elby and Chepelevsky on the outside that ended up collecting Connor Parise, who had just made that transfer spot.
Connor's upside down in corner number 1. Sorry to interrupt you, Cam. Not sure what he did here. Oh, he got a little bit loose going into that right-hand flick of turn 1, and he hit that tire barrier. That threw him into the outside wall, and that red at Ford Fiesta ended up on his lid, and that's pretty much going to be the end of the day for Connor. He's still out there, but I don't think he's going to have much pace, and the fight for second is getting close as well. Sindre and Adam Elby, they're bumper to bumper into the first couple corners.
Yeah, and we're just seeing the elbows out before we even really got anywhere. Bobby Zielinski's gone almost around, and he ended up taking a massive shot to Carl Jensen. So everybody's really, whatever they built up during the heat, they shook it all off, and they have gotten right back down to the bottom of the barrel, I would think, as it seems to me that these guys are really flexing their elbows and really pushing a lot of maneuvers that they know. They know, and any official racing series, there goes Sindre Setsas around. They know that none of this stuff would work.
Jake Hewlett suddenly finds himself, I believe, in the 3rd spot. Adam Elby now running 2nd after Sindre Setsas. Not really sure what happened to that radical Volkswagen. I think he just caught one of those tire barriers, which is so easy to do, and indeed that's what he did. He got a little bit loose trying to get close to the first one, and that spat him out into the second one and sent the car around. Mitchell de Jong now has been gifted a 3.5-second lead here as they work themselves through this final sector on the racetrack, coming to the end of lap number 4, and Mitchell suddenly has been given an enormous advantage. Jake Hewlett now clips one of those tire barriers, and Carl Hansen is going to fight for the 3rd spot. So what's going on out there? This is supposed to be the best rallycross drivers on the sim, and they can't keep it off the walls or off the tire barriers or off each other.
They're the best heat racers in the world, but as soon as we get to feature racing, things seem to not translate very well, and I don't know why. But after that start was a super rough start. Is actually Jake Hewlett is around once. He's around twice, up 3 times, 4 times around, and he is going to be done for the day because he rode the rear end
on top of Carl.
Yeah, he landed on the rear end of Carl Jensen. As it turns out, Volkswagen's Randy very, very circular at the top.
So just having a look at that, Jake Hewlett says, hey Connor, whatever you can do, I can do better. And instead of flipping the car once, he did about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rolls into that BRS Chenowth Simsport Volkswagen. That will be the end of his day, surely, as Mitchell de Jong now is going to have an enormous advantage. Adam Elby is in 2nd. Carl Hansen is in 3rd with Fabian Menetre. That's really the close fight. Those two really stacked up. Sindre Setsas, he's back facing the wrong way after taking the landing and the jump not quite right. There are a lot of things going wrong, and that's going to be Adam Peters who takes that 5th spot away from Sindre.
Yeah, and there is a battle right now between Zielinski and Connor Parise. Connor Parise easily blowing by Zielinski, because I think Zielinski actually has a mechanical problem. Yes, he does, so he's going to pull that car off. So Bobby Zielinski's day is done as here comes de Jong. Actually, I'm almost worried he might have to start lapping some people. That's where your danger is going to start coming into this, because we've still got laps to go, and yet he's lapping the field. And I got to say, for what field is left, not much fighting to do. I think Fabian Menetre and Carl Jensen are about it.
Yeah, he just put Bobby Zielinski a lap down, and that's, I think, what happened to Bobby. I think he saw Mitchell coming, and he basically just skipped the jump and went slow on that side of the racetrack as Bobby sends it into corner number 1 and puts that car up on his lid. So that's the third time. I think Bobby's mostly just messing around out there, to be entirely honest, as they're coming to 2 laps to go, Cam. And once again, it's a little bit hot in Phoenix, and these guys, well, if it's hot in the kitchen, maybe you should get the heck out.
It's only 73 degrees in the air. That'd be beautiful for Phoenix, but either way, I just...
That's winter for Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a winter snow alert, actually. But, I mean, for myself, that start really kind of set the tone after basically 3 two-car incidents happening simultaneously going into one. Basically, the entire outside line taking out everybody on the inside line. It just kind of set the tone, and everyone just went, well, all right, I guess we'll just... subscribe to that as Mitchell de Jong. Well, I thought that perhaps this would be the day, but nope.
Well, Adam Peter just ended up facing the wrong way as well near start-finish. Mitchell's going to be taking the white flag here shortly. Adam made the same exact mistake that Sindre Setsas did, got the exact same tire barriers in the exact same order as Mitchell de Jong is going to have the white flag symbolized to him as he works himself down through the first couple of corners with a gap of only 7 seconds out there on the racetrack. So Mitchell needs to step it up to open that up to over 10. If it's not double digits, I'm not satisfied. Carl Hansen is trying to reel in from third. The second place runner of Adam Elby, he's going to go up and over the tabletop and just nicely bring himself in to a good second place finish, I think. Because I think we got one driver. It is Carl Hansen. He gets the jump wrong. He's going to drop spots. But Mitchell de Jong is going to come through, and he is going to win for the 10th time in a row on Friday Night Dirt Night and on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. The Red Bull Global Rallycross leg here from Phoenix. Where did Carl Hansen end up eventually falling after that last lap mistake, going up and over the jump? These guys making it very difficult to keep up where everything's going. He only dropped 1 spot, somewhat luckily to him, Cam. This is such a cluster of a race that on the final lap, you could drop 10 seconds or so on your average lap time and only lose 1 spot. That's how many people we lost.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to think if we even had some decent battling. I think we did. I like to think that maybe 1 pass was done. But either way, I think that sets us up, Randy, to, at the very least, if we run at least 3 green flag laps in either the late model race or the sprint car race, I'm worried that perhaps they'll have put on a better show.
Yeah, I think you're right. But first, let's go down the finishing order for this feature as Fabian Menetre, he's out there celebrating his podium, but besides that, I don't know what else he has to celebrate. Mitchell de Jong comes home, making it 44 in a row, but 10 in a row on Dirt Night. Adam Elby in second with Fabian Menetre in third. Carl Hansen fourth, Stilian Chipolewski in fifth, Sindre Setsas sixth, Connor Parisi in seventh, Adam Peter eighth, Bobby Zielinski ninth, and Jake Hewlett, who's looking to have such a good run. An unfortunate mistake, and I think that was the only one, Cam, where that mistake is somewhat forgivable because he just got in the air, and once you're in the air, nothing you can do. That's really the only incident, I think, where someone just wasn't trying to push too hard. I think it's, you know, because I think you're pretty much right. I think it's just the egos for some of these guys, just too big, and they don't want to let up at any point during these races, and because of that, we end up having these big lap on incidents or people facing the wrong way lap on lap, or, you know, it's just yeah,
frustrating.
It was frustrating today is the term I'll use.
I think for me, the thing is that we get into the heat races. The heat races are fantastic. I mean, the pass that we saw Setsas do was wonderful. Great racing in the heats. And then we get to the show, the primetime show, the show that everybody shows up to watch. And I don't think the moment's too big. I mean, half these guys are basically WDC drivers. And it just seems to me that for whatever reason, it just never seems to hook up for, I mean, we've had some very good racing in the finales, don't get me wrong, but it just seemed here today at Phoenix that we might still be waiting for that A main to show up, if you know what I mean.
So, with that, we're going to go directly into your post-race interviews. We are stood by with 10-time winner here on Dirt Night, Mr. Mitchell de Jong. And Mitchell, I'm going to start things out. We've been talking about these people trying to learn how to beat you on these races. Are you going to give a little, you need to put like a PowerPoint presentation or something together for all these guys to make them even be able to finish these races after 10 laps. Is that, do you think you could echo that as well?
Well, this was certainly a tough track to do so, especially in the final. with the jump and the way the track wears a lot, it's super hard to be consistent. I think I even said when I was driving, like, I hope I finish this because I'm not really in control at all. So it's a tricky thing to do, and obviously qualifying was super close again. You know, it's definitely really close, and the really small things is what makes the difference.
Talking about you on 10 in a row on Dirt Night and 44 in a row in the official sessions, there's been a couple times I've been with you on TeamSpeak or on Discord or something. You've been worried about that record getting broken. I have a feeling that you're gonna be holding on to this for quite a while. You think that you think you're gonna be able to hold on to it, or you get nervous and more nervous every time you load into one of these official races?
It's certainly something I want to try to keep. I want to keep it going as long as I can. You know, the last one I was a bit. I was telling myself not to think about it, but inadvertently I made it worse for myself. I think that was part of why I messed up Q last time. But this time I don't know. I felt much more relaxed and yeah, ready just to have some fun. And I think it was much better. So just have to keep the right mindset going into the races and just try to, you know, do your job, and hopefully it works out in the end, and don't really worry so much about the things you can't control.
Daytona in 7 days time, which 4 drivers are we going to see not finish there?
That's a tricky one. Well, I'd like to hope everyone finishes. It's one of those tracks where it is super tight, with the tires being thrown around in that first chicane and things like that. It's very easy for things to go wrong. But we'll see. It could be one of the best races. We'll have to find out.
Thanks for joining us, Mitchell, and congrats on 10 in a row on these broadcasted nights, and congrats on 44 in a row in official. Before we let you go, get the phone out. Any sponsors, who would you like to thank?
Of course, I'd like to thank my teammates, everyone at Coanda, especially the Europeans for staying up and tuning in right now. It's quite late for them. I'd like to thank all our partners, Husingfeld, Virtual Racing School, and We're in Design, Dual Real Timing, SimQuip, and VTech, and of course RaceSpot, you guys, for putting this on for us.
Well, you are more than welcome, Mitchell. Good luck once we go back down to Florida next week.
Hey, appreciate it.
Well, Cam, that's the only interview we have lined up thus far, which means that, well, we're going to have to get moving here in a little bit for the late models as they head on over to Knoxville, I believe. But first things first, it's can't really avoid it. There's a handful. There's so many guys that are really, really good, and it's the same too in the sprint cars. It's like we've started to see the same problem in these rallycross races that the sprint car has starting to bring out. So it's like people race so good in the heats, and then they just get to some point where the egos take over, and they can't take finishing 5th instead of 4th, and they just basically end up wrecking people.
Yeah, no. It just... Also, just to clarify here, who was the one that ended the Undertaker's streak there for whatever it was? So some 21 and whatever.
Well,
so
I can tell you he threw Mankind off a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, so whoever that guy is that ended the streak, that's the only person he has to worry about. I almost want to say it's Brock Lesnar, so... either way, it just seems to me that it just, I don't want to say that the moment's too big, because none of these moments are too big. These guys have basically all raced for cash money, you know, and so for me, it kind of gets to the point where it's not the pressure of the moment, but for whatever reason, just how this goes, it never seems to work out. Really strange, and we'll continue to see how it goes.
So here's the other question. Mitchell, he's closing in on 50 in a row. You think we're going to have a Floyd Mayweather versus Mitchell DeJong bout to see who can be 51-0? Is that why we're going to have to settle that?
I don't know. I mean, let's be real here. Between a fight with literally any of those people that we've listed in Mitchell, no offense to Mitchell, but he's not gonna win. It's not if it's a physical bout. I mean, I'm pretty confident that he keeps himself, you know, lightweight and ready to drive the car more than ready to throw Mankind off a cell or so whatever the thing is.
Floyd Mayweather is definitely not a wrestler, Cam. So just
no, I know he's a boxer.
So you're aware.
I'm aware. I brought it back full circle because we gotta get ready to move on.
He did bring it full circle. We still have a few more minutes before we have to go for the late models. Daytona next week. We've seen Daytona several times. I believe it's going to be the long layout. Short layout, I believe, is the last we used. Let me refresh my memory. I think I'm right. I think it's going to be the long layout. That should be a good one, as Daytona and Iowa are going to be the two tracks that really cap off this championship. And I have to say, probably two of my favorite ones. Iowa, I think, definitely being my favorite. I go back and forth between IRP and Iowa. That's going to be an entertaining one, I think, to really cap off the championship. But Daytona next week, that's going to be an interesting race, as always.
Yeah, and we didn't even really have the... Did we even go over, like, top 5 in points? I don't even know if we did.
Yeah, we did it at the top of the show.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure if we touched it.
It's basically Mitchell who's won 44 races in a row, basically dominating the race, throwing everyone in the field off of Hell in a Cell.
Oh, easy now. No, the rest of the schedule looks pretty all right. Hopefully we can get some a good string of races going. Obviously, like Mitchell was saying, Phoenix is a difficult circuit, so maybe that has something to do with it, where you need to be dancing the razor's edge. So we'll see. We'll have to see in 1 week's time if they can kind of bounce back. We've seen the sprint guys bounce back, so I'm sure that it's just a natural thing.
Let's hope so, as we're going to cap off the first leg of Friday Night Dirt Night here on RaceSpot TV and on iRacingLive. But do not go away. We still have two incredible bits of action coming at you. As first up, we're going to have, coming in just a few minutes, the World of Outlaw Craftsman late models. They're going to be hitting the racetrack out at Knoxville. And then we have, after that, the World of Outlaw Craftsman sprint cars at Volusia. So do not go away here on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. We will be back in just a few minutes. Bye-bye.
I grew up in Northern California. My parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to, sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run, about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and, put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead. Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart. Slide job, no. Larson unable to complete the pass. He'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinser. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader. Kyle Larson from ninth leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track, just because it's for fun. Where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there. Where sprint cars, you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, starting out, as a rookie on there, in the legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to, have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T, similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just for fun now, so I enjoy going on there. Actually, I don't enjoy going on there all the time because I don't win a lot, so it's frustrating to see myself struggle to run top 10 in an Xfinity race or something like that and get beat by Logan Seavey every time I run a sprint car. So the level of competition on iRacing is better than real life. I mean, you've got thousands of drivers on there that, a lot of them are probably better than the people you see on TV. They just haven't had the opportunities to make it, but can kick butt on there, and you can spend all day long running thousands of laps a day, so you can get yourself really good at it. So competition level is just unbelievable really on there. I mean, everybody's been asking for dirt on there for forever. So when they announced it, I got really, really excited. And honestly, it's blown my expectations away. The cars, to me, drive really good when the track's hooked up. The visual part of the racetrack changing is amazing. How you can run some laps and see it start to get shiny, and then you feel it getting slick. Areas of the racetrack getting dirty, and then you get some cars run through there and it cleans off and gets grip back. It's nuts. The tear-off feature is really cool. Watching the wing move backwards and forwards. I run with the virtual reality headset too, so being able to look down and see everything, it looks extremely realistic. So yeah, it blew my expectations away. And it's only going to get better, really.
Just like a movie, just like a storybook, we are the future, we're the ones they won't overlook. It's time to be the hero. Like you've never seen, like you've never seen. Looking for a hero. Just like in a dream, just like in a dream.
Continuing coverage here of iRacing Dirt Night on iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV. Hello, everybody. I'm Cameron Walsh. That's Randy Chenowth, and that, my friends, is Hugo Louis. Now, of course, the super late models are currently running at Volusia literally right now. It's the Dirt Car Nationals. And, of course, that, all the good stuff. They post all the clips and the highlights on their website, on the YouTube, on whatever. So, but first, we got to handle stuff online, Randy. We've got probably what is hoping to be, I'm almost 87% sure that this is going to be the race of the night. If the sprint cars are anything to do about it, GRC kind of let us down. We got super late models. They always put on a good show.
Yeah, the sprint cars in Volusia are stereotypically bad, and the Red Bull race didn't really live up to the usual hype. So let's see, if I do the math in my head, let's see, divide by X, carry the one. Yeah, the late models have a good chance of stealing the show once again.
Yeah, so let's take a look here at some of the standings. If I can get that up. And well, there they are. So Howard Weaver, 1,224 points. John Fiddler, 1,207. Jacob Leverstein, Austin Selman, Virgil Graham, your top 5. All fairly close in points. I mean, it's not like the other series, Randy, where we have one car dominant and then you've got everyone following it. This one's actually pretty open.
Less points separate the top 10 than what separate the top 2 in Rallycross. So yeah, this is a pretty open championship. Fiddler, Levenstein, and Selman all very, very close there to Howard as they start taking the to the racetrack here for qualifying in these late models. And looks like everyone's up around the top here at Knoxville tonight. So it's be interesting one to see who these guys are quick, who's going to be there when it all counts.
Yeah, and as looking around the track, we'll see who manages to get the qualifying time in first. That's a race in itself worth absolutely nothing other than me saying your name the first time. So, as they round around the corner, 1 minute more time here. Of course, Knoxville Speedway. This is a fairground speedway. It's James Edens. He's the one that's able to get a first lap time in, and it's a pretty decent one, 18.606, but it's not long before that's taken by Austin Selman, Norwood, Nabruge, and Leverstein. And well,
it's not looking so good anymore.
It's not looking so good, but his second lap was a 0.5. So, all right, Austin Selman, your current qualifying leader. He's going to be happy with that one. Proudly blazing the #1 on top of his machine as the super late models round around this half-mile fairground circuit. And Randy, fairground circuits, very unique in how they go, very unique in how they race. And honestly, I have to say my favorite setup as far as dirt track races go.
These sorts of racetracks always are very interesting. As number 8 car, Howard the Tomato Man Weaver, he takes to the racetrack, comes off quarter number 4 to start his first of 2 qualifying laps. He's opting for the bottom here in qualifying, where he can do a little bit of slick seam, just setting that left front right up on that berm. You can do that in late models, and I presume some of the anything heavy street stocks, probably modifieds as well. As he's gonna come off corner number 4, and let's see what Howard does on lap 1. Will he be able to sneak pole position away? He can go to an 18.4. That puts him about mid-pack.
Yeah, and as watching Howard Weaver continuing to roll around here at the Knoxville Raceway, which is the sprint car capital of the world, but not today. As here comes Howard Weaver, there's a starter stand, and then he parks it into the outside retaining wall.
Nice Bobby Zielinski impression.
It is not going to be very good for the aerodynamics of the vehicle when you crash it into the outside barrier. Still waiting on 2 times. Drew Hirschko and Chris McGuire. Hirschko is out right now as he's driving around. His first lap time is a good one. It's an 18.414. That is going to be good enough for a provisional 6th position. Can he get more out of that number 11? He hangs it just a little bit down low. He tries to work his way through. He's on the throttle. The super late model giving it all. She's got 120 mile an hour. And I think this lap time, I'm not sure if I'm going to be too happy with that one. Yeah, he's abortive of that one. So either way, that's where it is going to land. So that gives us our heats. We've got 19 cars, so it's going to be a 9-car heat and then a 10-car heat. This one is going to be heat number 1, and that, my friends, is going to be your 10-car heat. So let's take a look at your starting grid here as they roll their machines out here under the lights at Knoxville Raceway. Of course, we'll see. I think this is obviously the latest edition, but it won't be long, Randy, because we're going to be getting Lima Land, and I'm pretty excited about that one. But either way, let's take a look at the grid. It's Austin Selman. He'll lead over Justin Norwood. Virgil Graham's in there. Adam Elby, Garrett Nabruge, Jordan Wesley, John Fiddler, Lucas Chowding, Adam Peter, and then Trent Gosley. And Randy, it almost seems like it's not very fair. You know, you're the new racetrack, everybody likes you, and then 12 weeks later you get bumped off.
Yeah, it's like dating in middle school, isn't it? It's just sort of, you know, you're the new hot thing, and now suddenly Johnny is dating Sarah, and everything just goes downhill from there, and suddenly you're posting embarrassing pictures on MySpace. But regardless, I don't know if you've actually heard, Cam, but we do Mr. Looselip Myers, who's taken the reins from Looselip's Gardner, let slip on Twitter yesterday that the current production schedule is Limaland into Charlotte into Kokomo.
Yeah, the dirt track at Charlotte, of course, hosts many a national event, so that one's going to be good. A little bummed about Kokomo getting a bit of a bump, but I'm okay with that. As somebody has crashed into the outside wall, that's Lucas Chowning. He's brought the car back into line, perhaps having learned his lesson. As our safety truck continues to drive his unmarked, I almost said it, his unmarked pickup truck, that would have been bad, into pit lane this time by. Lights are off, and that is going to get us underway. First heat here at Knoxville. Let's get this ball a-rolling. Austin Sebelman, he's ready to rock and roll. When will he let loose the trigger on his super late model? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series Heat number 1. Austin Sebelman revs it up. He says goodbye and good night, and he leads them all into one.
So down through 1 and 2 for Austin Sebelman. He's gotten away nice and clean here from the likes of Norwood and Virgil Graham. Virgil trying to get underneath that number 14 car of Justin Norwood and sliding through corners number 3 and 4. Norwood gotten a little bit of a breakaway here, but not very much as they go into 1 and 2 for the second of 8 times.
Yeah, so it's Sebelman from Norwood, from Graham, from Elby. Elby looks like he wants to get in some of the action. He wants to get on Virgil Graham. It's top 7 that goes through. My math is correct. That means we should have a B main, which is going to be all the more exciting as Sebelman leads one more time. And lap number 3, everyone pretty static right now, but they're just getting a feel for what the racetrack's doing.
Everyone just getting a feel for things being nice, cool, nice, calm, and cool here as the 7th place is, of course, the bubble man we want to keep an eye on. That's the 16 of Garrett DeBruge. He's got a nice little margin behind to Lucas Chowning in that 12 car, so no real close fight there. It's basically just up here through the top 5. Everyone more or less knows the tail, but that said, Virgil Graham has lost the back of that 14 of Justin Norwood by just a little bit.
And Fiddler's coming into the picture. He wants to get a position on him, Adam Elby, as he perhaps looks to the inside. He sends it early, which means he might get a door knock. He'll back out of that one wisely. Doesn't want to risk anything. Top 7 will go through. And that 7th position of Garrett DeBruge is gapped to Lucas Chowning, so everyone's safe as it is unless somebody makes a mistake as we're starting on lap number 6.
So lap 6 of 8, and Austin Sebelman worked himself out to a half-second advantage here over Justin Norwood. Mr. Virgil Graham has fallen into the clutches of Adam Elby as they roll themselves through corners number 3 and 4, and that's going to be Fiddler as well in the background, who's very tight and close to this battle. As 2 laps to go, they come under the timing beams and into 1 and 2 again.
No, Austin Sebelman, he's been running good all race, all heat long. It's been 18.5s, 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 and Justin Norwood not that far behind. He's running almost identical lap times, but with the distance, not much he can do as Elby tries to make the maneuver on Graham. They're starting to jockey for position here. As we start the white flag, massive send it from John Fiddler to the inside. He'll have to back out of that one as here comes Austin Sebelman down the backstretch. For one final time, he will take victory in heat numero 1 here at Knoxville Raceway as that opens up the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Models heats. Everyone goes by, nothing dramatic goes through. So the finishing order, it is Sebelman, Norwood, Graham, Elby, Fiddler, Wesley, DeBruge, Chowning, Peter, and Gosley. That means Chowning, Peter, and Gosley will have to go to the consolation race. Heat number 2, getting ready to rock and roll. That's going to be Randall Carter, Jacob Fields, Drew Hirchko, Howard Weaver's starting well back and forth, Zach Rounds, Jacob Leverstein. Leverstein has not been getting qualifying times down, as he will start 6th in heat number 2. Chris McGuire, James Edens, David Kolb will be the final runner here. And Randy, heat number 1, fairly straightforward affair. Didn't see anybody flip over. That's a thumbs up for me.
Well, if Rallycross is anything to go by, they'll be saving that for the feature as these guys get ready to start going out there and pacing. But the person I want to watch is number 8 car of Howard Weaver. Howard is gotten really, really good in these late models. Probably, I would say easily one of the best, in the top 3 for the late model guys on the sim right now. But he's not been that great in qualifying some weeks. He's rolling off 4th in this heat race. I think we're going to see him move through this field even in this short little 8-lap heat and at least pick up 1 or 2 spots before we get to the end of it.
Riding aboard with Howard Weaver right now as we're running our pace laps. You can see Drew Hirschko to his side, Jacob Fields to his front as he gets ready to rock and roll. Nice little office he's got there, and he'll need to use all that wheel to get that car moving, which I'm sure he will be doing. Lights out on the pacing truck here at Knoxville Raceway. Of course, you're watching iRacingLive, RaceSpot TV. You're in the middle of iRacing Dirt Night Heat number 2 action coming underway. 9 cars. It will be 8 laps. 7 go to the feature. So, as they go past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, they will get ready to take the green flag. When will the leader of Randall Carter go? Well, we'll have to find out. Pace truck looks to the safety of pit lane one more time, and it will be in the right foot of Mr. Randall Carter, and he'll throw it sideways as fast as he can as he gets himself underway. He gets the whole shot, leads him into 1.
A good jump there from Randall Carter, Jacob Fields, and Drew Hirschko. They're closely battling as well for 2nd and 3rd as Howard Weaver. He's fighting with the 6th of Zach Rounds. I predicted that Howard would go forwards, but currently in the process of going backwards. They come off of corner number 2 and down this front straightaway to end lap number 1 up to the top in corners number 1 and 2 as well for a couple of guys. It's still wheel to wheel is Howard Weaver trying to fight with Zach Rounds to get him off his inside.
Zach Rounds has been using that inside line. Perhaps the track's starting to yield as the track gets worn in 3 wide as they go through corner number 1. Somebody's going to be a loser out of that one. I think that would have been Weaver, but they stay in it. They basically run the corner near 3 wide as Hirschko works his way on the outside. They'll go 3 wide one more time. Leverstein, he wants to get a piece of this action. That number 2 car ready to rock and roll. It's Carter, Fields, and then this 3-car battle as Hirschko runs the high side, Weaver the middle, and Rounds on the inside.
Everyone's still trying to push here as Howard's going to get clear of Zach Rounds here. Now he's going to start working on Drew Hirschko down to the inside of 1 and 2. Zach Rounds gets sent up the racetrack. Not sure if that was a mistake or if he took a little bit of a tap from Jacob Leverstein, but regardless, he ends up losing position and now taps the outside wall and almost gets turned on that number 3 machine of Chris McGuire as he works himself back down this front straightaway and still looking out in front. Weaver's lost Drew Hirschko a little bit, but things are still pretty much single file. Top 5 all very tight.
And Jacob Fields did have a pretty decent run. They ran door to door for maybe half of a lap. That is your leader and 2nd position. And Randall Carter's been able to just use the power on that outside line. I don't think the outside line is going to be yielding anytime soon, not until perhaps halfway through this feature event. But Jacob Fields starts working his way. He gets ever closer here. Lap number 7 is Hirschko, Weaver, Leverstein. There's still some battling going on between Zach Rounds and McGuire, and if these guys aren't careful, they might bump themselves into the clutches of David Kolb. As here comes Randall Carter here to put on the show for us to see who might come away with the checkered flag for heat number 2. Jacob Fields tries to throw it one final time, but he's got pressure from Hirschko, and Hirschko's got pressure from Weaver. As they continue to work their way in right now, that number 10 machine has been bulletproof, and Randall Carter will take heat number 2. Jacob Fields will settle for 2nd happily, I'm sure. Then it's Hirschko, and then it is Weaver, Leverstein, McGuire, and Zach Rounds, then Kalb, then Edens. Consolation race time, and Randy, heat number 2, pretty good.
Yeah, that was a really, really good little heat race right there. Very competitive, and see that track coming in a little bit. Things were getting a little bit more racy than we saw in heat race number 1. I think that bottom groove is starting to slicken up just a little bit. We have a 5-car consolation race between Chowning, Kolb, Peter, Edens, and Gosley that will go down here in just a moment. But 5 cars, 4 of them transfer, and if nothing else, Cam, instead of just tacking that extra car on the back, we're at least going to be able to get this track beat up just a little bit before that feature opens up, and then that bottom should get a little bit eaten up, because I agree with you. I think it's going to take about 10 to 15 laps into this feature event before that bottom gets so slick you see people moving up top.
Of green flag running to get this track slick. Let's be mindful here.
It's not the sprint car, Cams. We'll be fine.
You say that. Cars are rolling right now. It is Lucas Chowning, David Kalb, Adam Peter, James Edens, and Trent Gosley is going to be your 5 cars here. $5 to the winner. How about that? Let's see if we can get Hugo to do that. It is not going to be a short race. Normally when they do stuff like this, it's literally a 3-lap race. Unfortunately, it is going to be a 10-lap race with 5 cars. So hopefully these guys stay together. They beat the track up for us and they don't beat on each other. But 4 positions to go and 5 cars enter. So we'll see who gets voted off the island, Randy, and well, hopefully we'll at least have a pretty good show. 4 races, a super late model. I'm okay with that.
Yep, nice little just last chance qualifier here for 4 of these guys. But, oh well. We wish it may be a little bit more populated, but that's what happens when the races end up splitting. But these guys work themselves down the back straightaway past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum there off of corner number 2. And in towards 3 and 4. We're getting ready to release these guys for 10 laps, and we're going to decide who's going to be off the island.
Yeah, so Lucas Chowning, that number 12 machine, the red and black with the skull in the front, because that obviously intimidates the people that don't have mirrors on their machines. Lucas Chowning, he puts the pedal to the metal and he leads us all into corner number 1. It's Peter Caleb Edens and Gosley. Edens way high, Gosley down low, as we're running pretty good so far.
Everyone's still liking pretty much that bottom side of the racetrack. Number 12 machine works up to the middle, and we see the 4 car in the back of Edens. He moves to the top, so maybe that bottom's starting to go away just a little bit. Let's see what 1 and 2 brings. 4 car goes to the bottom, and now it's that 3rd place runner of David Kolb. He moves to the top side of the racetrack as he's fighting side by side with James Edens down the back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4, but seems like that bottom groove and maybe slightly up off the bottom in the middle. Still fast here as they come to the end, a lap number 2.
Yeah, so right now it's Lucas Chowning. He's got a pretty good break right now. It's Adam, Peter, Edens, and Kolb. Kolb got a really good run onto the inside of Edens. He's going to throw the door going into the inside here. Trent Gosley watching along in the back as he is basically locked out of the A main right now as Kolb continuing to work on the inside line. He's just trying to get that rear tire dancing as Adam Peter in his quote-unquote home improvement machine is going to get some pressure from James Edens. Edens always running the all-white paint scheme because he hates me. As actually really good over-under from Adam Peter, good on the counter.
And well done by him. We saw just right there Mr. Edens pick up that 2nd spot, and the 18 car immediately got racing, getting back down to the bottom. Not very good off of corner number 2 right there. That's going to bring David Kolb into the picture, into this fight for the 3rd spot. 17 car works the inside of that 18 machine, but nothing doing just yet. Off down the front straightaway, coming to lap number 6. So half distance scored complete in this last chance qualifier, and that last place runner currently looking to be the person voted out is Trent Gosley. Needs to hope for some drama out in front, but I think these guys are going to race with each other fairly nice, Cam. No point in trying to fight for 3rd in the last chance qualifier when you transfer at 4th.
Yeah, if the winner doesn't even get $5, you're certainly not getting the $5 for finishing in 3rd. So I will say I have been watching the degree of which Lucas Chowning has been throwing his super late model. The rear is getting chucked more and more every single corner, especially in 1 and 2. The angle of attack is expanding, it's growing out, and I think that is a beautiful thing. I'm really happy to start seeing these guys go, because when it gets to be go time, as they're on lap number 8 of 10, when it gets to be go time, I will say this track, it looks to me at least like it is basically all set and ready to go to have a fantastic feature. Kolb still working on the inside of Peter.
Yeah, still fighting a little bit there for that 3rd spot, 3rd and 4th places. Kolb, he's not really shown any aggressiveness. He's just sort of put the car down the inside and let that 18 of Adam Peter know that he was down there. They come off corner number 4 and take the white flag for lap number 10 of 10 in this last chance qualifier. Lucas Chowning going to lead the way by about 10 super late model lengths through 1 and 2. And Adam Peter, maybe a little bit of a mistake through the middle of 1 and 2. Going to cost himself a little momentum down this back straightaway in towards 3 and 4. And Lucas Chowning is going to be picture perfect there, running that middle groove. He's going to win this last chance qualifier, followed by Edens, Peter, and Kolb, and Trent Gosley, car number 19. He's the odd man out in this feature tonight, as he did not have the pace. But we now have our grid set for the main event.
Yes, we do. So we will get right into that as the fireworks are already shooting into the air As exciting as that may be, there they are. I see them. Alrighty, let's get the grid going. It's Austin Semmelman. He will lead as we take the green here on this 40-lap feature at Knoxville Raceway. Randall Carter will be starting his outside. Justin Norwood, he'll be starting in the 3rd position with Jacob Fields, his outside. Virgil Graham, then Drew Hirschko. Then it will go to Adam Elby. Howard Weaver, he starts way in back in the 8th position. John Fiddler will be starting 9th. Jacob Leverstein, he starts even further back. He's going to start from 10th. Jordan Wesley, Chris McGuire, Garrett Nabru, Zach Rounds, Lucas Chowning, James Edens, Adam Peter, David Kolb, and Trent Gosley is not going to be in the race. Sorry, Trent. Better luck next week. So, Austin Selman, that #1 machine, getting ready to roll us out. No flames here, Randy, as we have just got fireworks, which seems dangerously close to the track, as Randall Carter almost gives Selman a bit of a nudge, or maybe a hello.
Maybe just a little bit as these guys cycle themselves out there onto the racetrack. And you're absolutely right, Cam. Surprised. I don't know if fire is banned in the state of Tennessee or what. But these guys do get fireworks all the way around the racetrack versus just
nice. I like
on the outside of the back straightaway. So as these guys cycle towards the end of pacing lap #1, get everyone formed up. Going to be an interesting feature event. A lot of big names, a lot of people. We don't really get this in the sprint cars. In the sprint cars, it's usually just the top 3 or 4 guys you can name off to have a chance of winning. Here, you can get about 10, 11, 12 deep. You get back to the likes of Chris McGuire and Jordan Wesley. Those are 2 drivers that have a very good chance of potentially winning this race in terms of their talent levels. So, going to be a nice 40 laps of action around Knoxville, I think, tonight.
Well, I'm hoping for lights are out on the pace truck. Hugo, that means we need to get that music killed because, boy, oh boy, do we got a race coming to you. It's the iRacing #Dirt Night here on iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for making us part of the show. May I proudly present to you the World of Outlaws Craftsman Super Late Model Series.
What a jump from Austin Selman in towards corner #1. Big, big lead as Justin Norwood slots into 2nd place. Randall Carter works the top side. Down the back straightaway, he's nowhere near fighting for that 2nd place, but Virgil Graham is underneath him, so he's going to be fighting for 3rd. They come off of corner #4 for the first time, and the 9 car, Virgil Graham, he takes the 3rd spot away from Norwood, who he looks like he's continuing to fall. Jacob Fields, he looks racy on the bottom as well. The 10 does not like the top or the middle at all.
No, and it looks to me like Virgil Graham is being comfortable there. We've got a first yellow. That Zach Rounds and James Edens are around. Both cars look okay. Let's take a look here at the replay and see what we can find.
Is a hectic little stack up.
I'm seeing this. It's Lucas Chowning who won our last chance qualifier. He gets a nip from Chris McGuire, and that sends everybody around. Doesn't look like anyone really did too much to each other's cars, though.
Yeah, I think, that was a pretty good impact. That's one of the things that's nice about these late models versus the sprint cars. You get one of those big stack ups and, you can sort of bounce off each other a little bit and not take too major damage. At least on the dirt oval side of things, the cars are big, they're heavy, and they're built fairly strong, so they can take a bit of abuse. But regardless, nice early caution, and that car on the outside, Cam, Mr. Randall Carter going the exact wrong way on the start of this race. He nearly got pipped for that 5th spot by Jacob Fields, and I think that 10 car, given the fact he's going to be restarting on the outside again, I think he's going to continue to go backwards after this restart.
Yeah, it seems to me that inside line at least has a good jump until you get to full speed, but Virgil Graham and Jacob Fields were running very, very good on the inside line as we're behind the pace truck already on lap #4, so we'll see what these guys can do here, get themselves sorted out at about a 5-car pileup the back of the field, and everyone was able to continue. So get the lights out on the iRacing official pacing truck. The pacing truck will then pull into the pit lane, and then it will be up to Austin Semmelman to apply his right foot gently but firmly onto the accelerator. And then once he goes,
explaining restarts to us.
Hey, no problem. And then he will go really, really, really fast because he's got a very big engine in the front of that machine. And this super late model machine will pull him off, and there he goes. He already gets the whole shot just like that over Justin Norwood. Virgil Graham hangs the inside. We're green once again in Knoxville.
So Austin Selman goes really, really, really fast, coming off of corner number 2, and Justin Norwood is fighting for that second spot on the top side with Virgil Graham. Let's see if he can do a better job than Randall Carter did up top 14. Still hooking it up pretty well, but the 9-car Virgil Graham, slight pace advantage. That bottom's not gotten slick enough just yet, and it's the place you want to be, and Virgil's going to take that second spot away. He's going to take the nose off that 14 machine off of 2.
Yeah, good running from Virgil Graham. That lime green and black machine running strong. And you got to remember, lime green is a taboo color. You do not want lime green on your car. It's a dirt superstition. So Virgil Graham flying in the face of that one, running good and strong here in the second position in the opening leg of this race. 40 laps in the feature, and we are running lap number 8 right now as Jacob Fields is now trying the inside of Justin Norwood. Randall Carter does not seem comfortable. The whole field seems to close in on him with every single corner.
Meanwhile, out in front, though, Austin Selman doing a fantastic job to open up this gap. And I have to say, though, Cam, you say that lime green is not good on the dirt track. Tell that to Quaker State and Steve Kenzer, as close fighting still for third. As Justin Norwood, he's running the middle. Jacob Fields down along the bottom. And as I look down this field, Cam, people are starting to move up this racetrack. Bottom starting to, I think, slicking off here. As that 7-car Jacob is going to keep things down right up against that berm, but not getting the run off the corner we were seeing people get earlier on. Still a little bit of momentum down there to be had to that 7-car, but I think most of your field is moving up to the middle or to the top.
Yeah, and that will be temporary. You'll see them move up to the top for perhaps 5-10 laps, and then they will start to work their way back down to the bottom once the grip has been used up there. Got to remember, 2,200 pounds, almost, what, 600, 700, 800 horsepower, something like that, pushing to those right rears, to that right rear, and that will throw a lot of dirt and move a lot. You can see how worn in the track is getting, how shiny the surface is getting as they go on through. And Justin Norwood versus Jacob Fields, that battle is continuing. Randall Carter losing a position to John Fiddler. Fiddler throws it up to the high side. Carter had to back out of that one.
That 10-car going the absolute wrong direction. He's falling back to 7th. He just got pipped by Howard Weaver as well. So your second place starter way down the order here in this one. They come across the timing beams to be in lap number 14 of 40. A little bit of a move coming for the 11 of Drew Urchko. Slides up the inside of Adam Elby, who drives it right back down to the bottom. And that Me Machine works down the back straight in 2, 3, and 4. He's going to slide the 11 right back, as the 11 is going to get right back underneath them. Fantastic racing here toward the tail end of your top 10.
Yeah, and Howard Weaver, meanwhile, he's throwing the door on John Fiddler, but there's nothing in it, as Weaver, he wants to get up. He wants to continue to dominate as the points leader right now in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars, Craftsman Late Model Series, as he tries to close on in. He tried to seal the deal, Randy, on the inside, but Weaver just was not able to get the grip. That outside line still too strong as we were on board with him.
Yeah, he's doing his best, isn't he, as Howard Weaver, trying to move through this field. He's already moved up 2 positions, and he's working on the back of John Fiddler to make it 3 and put himself in the top 5. That 8-car looks comfortable around the bottom of the racetrack where everyone else moves to the top. 8-car working the momentum down. They're going to get a bit of a run. Almost, he has to lift way out of it there. Bit of contact nearly with John Fiddler, and that's always good to see. Something we don't see a lot from some of the guys in the open wheel bracket is this, knowing when to lift. A lot of people would have kept their foot in it there, and Fiddler would have been around facing the wrong way.
Yeah, so right now it is Semmelman, Graham, Fields, Norwood, Fiddler, Weaver, Carter, Herchko, LB, Wesley. That's your top 10, and Wesley has got company. He's got Jacob Leverstein, Lucas Chowning, and Zach Rounds. Chowning started 15th. He's moved up to 12th, and he's sideways as Zach Rounds tries to move to the inside line, but Zach just can't seem to get anything going, and for Leverstein, he can't seem to get anything going as well.
Yeah, a lot of people really struggling with these racing conditions. The fact that the line is moving up to the top side of the racetrack, we're starting to see a bit of shuffling here. Up and down your running order is still on a side-by-side happening up and down this field. I see right now the 4 machine of James Eden, that all-white number 4 car fighting with Nabruge as well as David Cobb. He's moved to the top. The 17 and the 16, they're running down along the bottom as people are starting to really shuffle on what you said earlier, Ken. That top side is going to sort of start to go away after a handful of running. I don't think the top side's really dead, but there's a lot of people who are running up there for a few laps that seem to have lost that comfort of running up there and are moving back down to that bottom groove right up against the berm.
Yeah, and just looking at your leaders right now, they seem to be going right to the bottom end of that shiny side. Nobody goes to the deep inside, but they're basically just covering the inside, almost gripping to like a curb almost, really, as they go on basically where only the shiny stuff is. That seems to be the fast lap times. 18.864 for your leader, which is probably, what, 5/10 off of the qualifying time. So that is just how much grip has been ripped away from this track. So Selman looking good. He's got maybe a 3-second gap between him and Virgil Graham. Graham has got nothing but a hair's breadth between him and Jacobs. And then they have got a large gap between Fields and Norwood, Fiddler, and Weaver. And that's the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, we've been working on the back of John for a while as we got a crash with the number 4 car.
He's fine. He's all right. He's got that working out. Or that's James Edens, excuse me.
Yeah, so James got a little bit of that mistake, and he couldn't get that car back running right in front of your race leader. So I was about to start talking about lap traffic, and I was going to say I don't think we're going to get to it, but James Edens gets into a little bit of trouble, and that means that Austin Selman's going to have to get underneath him. Does so very well. Before James Edens showing good sportsmanship, just getting the heck out of the way, and he's going to stay up to the top as he needs to now await the likes of Virgil Graham and Jacob Fields to come put him a lap down as well. Yeah,
I watched that replay on the production feed, and I got to say that was, you know, for all of the lane cautions we've had, that was impressive that we didn't get a caution for that, as it was 2 individual cars spinning and then another one spinning a second time. But either way, looking up to Randall Carter, the number 10 position, the number 10 car. He has just lost a position to Drew Herchko on the inside, but he's fighting back strong on the outside line. He might have the position, and he does. So we've got some pretty decent running right now, trying to figure out where everybody lies. Austin Silverman has lapped James Edens, and he's not that far behind from Lucas Chowning, as we're running lap 28 of 40.
We're closing in on 10 to go here as Randall and Drew are still side by side. I think the 10 car is finally hooked up the top nicely, and the 11 seems to like the bottom. They're basically mirroring each other lap times, lap on lap here, and they're just wheel to wheel, and it's not even anyone getting momentum either way. They're just straight up even with one another through these corners. The 11 car pulled ahead a little bit through the center of 1 and 2, but catches that curb a little bit wrong and have to lift the way out of it. Caution comes out. This is going to reset the field as things are getting very interesting between Weaver and Norwood, and I think Fiddler just dropped a spot or 2, which means that we're going to get an interesting reset of the field as Chris McGuire is the car that's around.
Yeah, that's so we got the replay right now. Chris McGuire looked, he just threw it a little too hard on the inside. You see him parked on the outside wall. Leverstein helped him with that. As you can see here on the replay with our little drone cam, he just nips a little bit of that car. He then clips the front bumper and then gets cleaned up by Leverstein. So the number 3 machine not having a good day, but he gets himself sorted out and turned back around. And the car at least looks okay. I mean, at least it did until he tried to do the thing where he spins the rears, because then his rear clipped the outside wall. But we'll just ignore then, pretend that that didn't happen on iRacing Live or RaceSpot TV, or pointed out by the commentators. Randy?
Yeah, no comment.
So with that, we are going to stack them all back up for a 8-lap shootout, should be. Austin Selman versus Graham. Jacob Fields versus Justin Norwood. So this ought to be good. And for Howard Weaver, talk about a break. He started back in 8th position. He's going to start in 5th in prime position to move on forward. And Randy, I think he should get excited about that one.
Yeah, you're right. And I think a lot of people, we're going to have an interest. If we keep it green, this is going to be a fantastic run to the finish, because things got themselves a little bit spread out through the midfield, but this racetrack has gotten very, very racy, Cam, and things are going to get very exciting as lights are out, field is stacked up, and Selman's about to bring him to green.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready. It's going to be a good one here at Knoxville Raceway. We are going to have 8 laps to go around this half-mile circuit to decide who wins the A-main feature. And Austin Selman lets it go. He puts the right foot down, and we are go for another 8-lap run here at Knoxville Raceway.
Selman's going to hold on to the race lead. First fight is really for 3rd, and it's going to get 2nd as well, as Jacob Fields going to take that spot away, and now fighting door-to-door with Virgil Graham off of corner number 3 and 4. Wheel-to-wheel for that 2nd spot is that lime green and black team VLR machine working with and against, let's say, Jacob Fields down there on the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, Selman, he's broken away a big margin out in front.
Yeah, he's pretty comfortable up there, and he likes, if he could have had a rear view mirror, he'd like what he sees between the battle between Jacob Fields and Virgil Graham. Graham is getting muscled out of that second position as Jacob Fields just leaves enough of the foil of the rear to do it, as somebody who tracks way up the track. That's Drew Hirschko. That opens it up. They're running 3 wide now. Hirschko, Carter, and I believe that is Nabruge. Nabruge is running there, and Zach Rounds wants to get a piece of that as well, and he will actually take a bite out of the rear of Nabruge, and that leaves just 2. So it's Carter versus Hirschko, Graham versus Norwood as the closing stages here of this race.
Jacob Fields has gotten that second spot away as Howard Weaver's in third. Virgil Grant's falling back to the 5th spot, going the absolute wrong way as we're inside of 5 laps to go. Jacob Fields still working the bottom. Howard Weaver trying to make anything up. Howard has come from 8th in this future to get himself up to 3rd. We said there's a lot of talent in this field. Anyone has a potential chance to win, and Howard's showing that you can drive through a field even with this much talent. But can he close on Jacob Fields and get that second spot away? As Selman is starting to falter a little bit, and that gap to him to Jacob Fields is starting to come down just a little bit. Just 2.5 laps left in this one as they come down the back straightaway.
You can see the amount of dust that's starting to come up from the inside of Howard Weaver's machine as he tries to track him down. The lap time's really no difference. And actually, here comes John Fiddler. He gives a little bit of a shot to the number 8 machine of Howard Weaver as we are got 2 to go. So we've got Popsicle Sticks. It's Austin Selman. He's got at least a 3-car gap over Jacob Fields. Jacob Fields, he's got a 2-car gap over Howard Weaver. Weaver is all covered by John Fiddler. Virgil Graham's nowhere to be seen. Justin Norwood's nowhere to be seen as the battling continues in the back of the field. But we'll focus up here for the final lap of the race. It has been mostly green flag running. We had 2 cautions, including one that set us up here at the end of this race. They were able to run them green, Randy. And here comes Austin Selman off of corner number 4. He lets it loose one final time. His super late model will claim victory here at the Knoxville Raceway as Jacob Fields crosses 2nd and Howard Weaver crosses 3rd.
What a run from these guys in these late models. What a run from Austin Selman. We talked about the talent in this field, Cam, but you know, the big talking points, you can talk about Howard Weaver driving his way up to the front from 8th to 3rd, and John Fiddler following him from 9th up to 4th. But I think you have to talk about Austin Selman because he dominated tonight in the super late models.
It didn't seem to have pressure for but 1 lap. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at the official finishing results for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Super Late Models here from Knoxville Raceway. We'll see who we can nab, who wants to chit-chat, who wants to say hello. So let's take a look at it. It's Austin Selman, the number 1 machine. Did you have any doubt? After 14 minutes and 44 seconds of racing, he took victory. Jacob Fields will come home in 2nd. Howard Weaver will come home in 3rd. John Fiddler comes home in the 4th position. Virgil Graham will come home 5th. Justin Norwood will come home 6th. It'll be Randall Carter 7th. Drew Hirschko 8th. Zach Rounds in 9th. Garrett Nabruge will finish in the 10th position. Adam Elby will finish 11th. Jacob Leverstein will finish in the 12th position. Jordan Wesley will finish 13th. David Kolb 14th. Lucas Chowning 15th. Adam Peter will come home in the 16th position. James Edens comes home 17th. Chris McGuire comes home 18th. And that is that out of the 18-car grid. So, Randy, gotta say, we've had another good day here in the World of Outlaws Craftsman late models. And I think we can put our cap on this one. This is a pretty good day.
Yeah, these late models, they set the bar high for the sprint car guys to be able to one-up, and they really set the bar high as well compared to what we saw in that Rallycross race. But regardless, fantastic race here as post-race coverage gets started now.
All right, so we have got Austin Selman, our race winner. Let's get him up here into the booth. And when we do, as he'll climb his machine. So, hello, Austin. You just took a very gentle ride around this circuit, and no challenges, nothing crazy going on at all. Just take me through your day.
I'm glad it looked gentle for you. It was tough being out there, especially cars I don't really race all that often. So I felt really good about it about halfway through, and then when that last caution came out, I thought I was a sitting duck because I don't run a mirror or anything. I didn't know where anybody was running, so I felt like if I guess just keep running my line. If somebody passes me, they pass me. So luckily it paid off for me.
Well, it paid off indeed. You had a good heat, and you got into this feature. You built a massive gap. We had a really long green flag run there, which was great to see. And really, just where did you didn't seem to really change your line too much over the course of the racing the race, but just take me through how you went with your lines, how you modified your line, and how you changed everything out, and were able to keep your lap times ahead of the others.
Well, that line I was running in 1 and 2 was actually something from the sprint cars, that kind of drifting up line, catching the cushion out of 2, and then running the very bottom in 3 and 4. That's kind of a sprint car thing here, so I'm like, you know, why not try it, you know? And I somehow qualified first, so I honestly didn't expect it to qualify that well or even win this. I mean, I almost didn't race because I've had such bad luck in late models lately, but the last minute I actually clicked in and raced, so this is a funny sport, racing, you know.
Absolutely. So, of course, congratulations on the victory here at Knoxville. And as such, the floor is going to be yours. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody at Dirt Collective, Dirt Division, Matt Hill, Off Camera TV, and of course Team VLR. We were looking really good there, I think, in the first few laps of that. I mean, we were all up front, and thanks to them guys and you guys for putting this on. Hopefully we can go do it again in the sprint car.
All right, as the sprint cars are going to get warmed up, their session should be launching. So, Austin Semmelman, that is your race winner, and we'll see you next week. Next, we've got Jacob Fields for a very quick interview with Randy Chenowth.
Yeah, I'm stood by with that 7 car of Jacob Fields. Jacob, it was a good run for you from 4th up to 2nd, made it +2 spots. That was a very interesting racetrack we had in that feature. The bottom was strong early, then everyone started moving up, and then it seemed like different people can make different parts of the racetrack work. Is that how it felt to you?
Oh yeah, it was crazy to see all the lines everybody was running out there, and it was hard to tell where the car was going to be quick at. The track was really hard to read.
Knoxville, of course, is the newest track on the Dirt Oval lineup currently. This is, I believe, the 2nd time we've seen it in the late models. How are you liking it here after the 2nd show that we've had on Friday Night Dirt Night?
I love this track. I think it's a bigger version of Eldora almost with less banking, and it makes for some good racing if you can get some 2 lines going.
Sprint cars at Volusia coming up next. You think they're going to be able to keep them clean?
Yeah, I think here they got enough room to mess with. They should be able to keep it clean. Should be a good race.
Thanks for joining us, Jacob. Congratulations on an amazing race in that number 7 car. Before we let you go, any shout outs? Who would you like to thank?
Oh yeah, E7 all day. You guys for broadcasting this. It's always great to go back and watch it.
Jacob Fields, 2nd place runner. I believe Cam has stood by with the last on the podium, Howard the Tomato Man Weaver.
All right, Howard Weaver came home in the 3rd position. Howard, you worked your way through the field. We're all climbing into the sprint cars now, but just take me quickly through your day here in the super late models at Knoxville.
Yeah, it started 8th in qualifying. The car didn't turn at all, so it was pretty tight. So didn't qualify probably where I could have, but in the race, I was just throwing slide jobs on everybody, and they were sticking luckily and got up there. I wish probably there were 10 more laps. I think I probably could have got to the lead after I rediscovered the bottom down there.
Yeah, well, either way, I mean, you managed to work your way up through the field, take a good run, a good stab here at the Knoxville racetrack, and you're still the points leader, I imagine, so that's very, very good. You've had a great season so far, and just hoping to continue it onward. We've got to get going with these sprint cars, so the floor is going to be yours. Anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to before we let you go?
Nobody cares about the sprint cars. I say we broadcast the pro late model race real quick, but anyway, I just want to thank Chenowth the Rhino in here. That's about it. Randy.
Well, there you have it. So Howard Weaver, thanks so much. We'll hopefully see you next week in the late models.
Yep, thank you guys. One day I'll jump back in the sprint cars.
Curse you, Howard. Everyone's gonna know my TeamSpeak naming conventions.
Conventions.
All right, so that's Howard Weaver, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll say goodbye to Knoxville and get ourselves hauled on down to Florida. It's where the Dirt Car Nationals are being held right this moment. We're going to tear it up with 410 wing sprint cars. Stick with us. It's iRacing Dirt Night here on iRacing Live and RaceSpot TV.
get ready, going green. Green, green, green!
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaws. To Barberville, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hello, everybody. I'm Cameron Walsh. That's Randy Chenowth, and that's Hugo Louis. Qualifying underway, as you can see here at Volusia Speedway Park. And you're watching the final leg here of Hashtag Dirt Night here on iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV. So, well, let's get this thing straightened out. Nathan Davis, he's currently sitting on pole with a 13.812. Bradley Cash, 13.878. Only 2 cars in the .8 bracket, as lap times are all over the place. And Dylan Semmelman, well, Randy, no surprise here. He takes it away, 13.723. That is quite the time for that Semmelman that you wouldn't normally think is the quick one.
Austin is not going to be having a happy night. He did a 13.988 and invalidated his second lap. Likely tapped the outside wall after crossing it. But Dylan, I've been watching. I've been doing these cars the last couple days. Been running pretty well, I might add. But Dylan's been very, very quick when the track gets slick. So watch for that number 3 car to be really, really strong. If he's out there starting on pole, it's going to be a very, very, I have to say, uphill battle for everyone else. In this one, we have a number of cars still out there. Cam Dance needs to run a couple laps, as well as Ryan O'Toole. He's on his he's on his first lap out there right now as he heads into 3 and 4.
Yeah, Ryan O'Toole looking as he comes off of the exit of corner number 4, gets his lap time in. It is a 14.041. Lap times all over the place, nearing half of a second between first and the last car of Zach McLaughlin. So either way, lap time still coming in. There's a good one. That's a 13.936 from Ryan O'Toole, as his World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint car is running fairly strong. We're going to have another set of, I believe, another 19 cars. So we should, in theory, have another consolation race. So let's take a look at heat number 1 here on, of course, iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV. It's going to be Dylan Semmelman, Alex Bergeron, your front row. Bradley Cash and Cameron Dance, your second row. Ryan O'Toole and Alan Downey, your third row. And you got Austin Semmelman, Travis Smith. And you got Zach McLaughlin. He's your 10th car. He's that outside car. He's the last one. So, Randy, It's Volusia, and this is the spot where the Dirt Car Nationals are ongoing right now with the super late models and the super dirt cars. But we got the sprint cars out here tonight, and we're going to rip up some good old Florida dirt, and looks to me like we should have a fairly good race. Track temperatures, I mean, it's 68 degree Fahrenheit. Track's actually warmer than the air, but looks to me like we should, in theory, have some good running going.
Volusia, this is where the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series kicked off their championship this past weekend and saw Donnie Schatz take home his first victory here at Volusia with that season opener as we get ready for these cars to go out there and pacing his round. It's not his first victory. He's won more championships than God. His first victory here at Volusia to cap off the weekend, but these guys are getting ready to roll off, and I've been running Volusia this week, like I said, and this is fairly tricky track conditions. You're going to see people likely opt for the top. Dylan's been one of the only ones I've seen be able to work the bottom when the track conditions are like this. Haven't seen Austin run, but logic says they're likely on the same set, so Austin might be able to do similar things as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Waiting for Austin to give Dylan a quote-unquote set, if you know what I mean. But either way, just to get him a little bit slower. But no, the number 3 machine's getting ready to pull away. So the banner says Semmelman, but don't be fooled, as there he goes, popping a wheelie. That number 3 machine does. It is Dylan up front, not Austin. So Austin Semmelman, after that victory in the late models, now finds himself strapped into a 410 wing sprint car. So Volusia, another half mile, but this is your bowl. This is your straight. Your only straight is going to be your front stretch. I almost call it the D-shaped dirt demon. That's Burton Speedway. That's a completely different racetrack, but much shorter. But you get that bowl, you get the banks going. You're pretty much on the throttle. You're really trying to throw the car around. You try to get it as close to the inside pit wall on exit, and there's a little bit of tire barrier sticking out, and we have a bit of history there. Is okay. All right, easy now there, Mr. Dylan. I understand you qualified first, but that's you got to keep that thing under wraps, because these machines, they can snap on you. As hopefully we won't have that happen, and then we will not give everybody black flags. If you want to know what that looked like, hopefully we deleted the footage from that. But either way, the number 3 machine, Dylan Semmelman, will get this show on the road. Heat number 1, World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars. Action coming at you live from Volusia Speedway Park here on RaceSpot TV. So pace trap, get into get into the pit lane. Thank you very much, Dylan Semmelman. Then lets the 410 wing sprint car go loose. Alex Bergeron's got nothing for him on the outside start. So Dylan gets the whole shot. We're green.
Down through this back straightaway, they're 2-3 wide in the back of the field, but everyone down along the bottom, at least for their front runners. Big slider from who is that? Cameron Dance sliding up in front of Brad Cash. Brad has had to lift way out of that throttle and down through 3 and 4 once again. 9 car slides up, almost catches Ryan O'Toole, but not quite able to do so. John Batista also lurking back there as well, trying to work the middle of the racetrack and work his way up through this heat.
Bergeron, he tried real hard to run that inside line in 3 and 4. There was nothing in it. Now there's got about a 5, 10, maybe 13 car gap between Semmelman and Bergeron. Bergeron is almost in the clutches of Dance. Dance is right ahead of Cash as Ryan O'Toole is there. On the inside is John Batista of Alan Downey, and here comes Austin Semmelman running that inside line. He's got nothing in it for Downey, so we're running fairly strong here, halfway through heat number 1.
So now through into corner number 1 and 2. Once again, Cam Dance just managing the gap. Things have gotten spread out here as Downey and Austin are fighting, and Austin actually gets a little bit of a tap, ends up in the wall. Back there with Zach McLaughlin. So Austin Semmelman, I think, currently in a position where he will not transfer out of this heat race, and that'd be quite the shocker from what we've seen him do in the past. There's only 3 laps to go left, and this one gonna be 2 to go at the line as Travis and Allen, now they work themselves through corners number 3 and 4 and off toward the front straightaway. Popsicle sticks in the air is going to be, I think, Dylan Semmelman with a big margin here, already out to a 1-second lead even after 7 laps. And once we come across to start lap number 8, I think he's going to be out even more so than that.
And so Dylan Semmelman will take the white flag right now. It's Semmelman, Bergeron, Dance, and Cash. And right now, your last transfer position is between Austin Semmelman and Travis Smith. So as they go around, here comes Dylan Semmelman. It's the tale of 2 cities here. Dylan Semmelman takes the victory I'll see where Austin will come across, as Austin comes home in 8th. So Dylan gets pushed to the finale. Austin Selman gets pushed to the compilation. So not necessarily the day the number 1 car wanted to start with here in the 410 Wing Sprint Cars. Your results from it are Semmelman, Bergeron, Dance, Cash, O'Toole, Downey, Smith, Semmelman, and then McLaughlin, and then Batista. Now let's get into heat number 2. They roll them out behind the pacing track here at Barberville, Florida. It's going to be Nathan Davis, Lewis Hewitt, his outside, Corey Wenzel, David Heilman, Kevin Click, Joel Berkeley, Bob King, Austin Matthews, and then Cody Olson, your 9th car. So we got to also remember, we've got Aussies in attendance. You've got, what, 3, 4, 5 Australians here today in our 410 Wing Sprint Cars as we roll them out and get ready to roll, Randy.
Always nice to have that international participation, as Nathan's going to lead them away. Lewis is going to be the first of the Australians in this heat race, starting on the outside of that front row, and hopefully everyone can just get their way through clean. And that's the thing, Cam. This is what I love. This is what happens with the sprint cars every week. The heat races are fun and exciting, good side-by-side action. People know when to lift, and let's hope that we can keep that up going into the feature. And well, that first heat race is pretty good, I have to say. I thought things went rather nice.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of moments. I saw Ryan O'Toole. He had a couple of moments that he backed out of very smartly, so very good on him. And of course, the battling, of course, towards the end there. But either way, cars rolling right now. They're taking the Tim Ryan approach of falling back. Not too far, actually. I wouldn't say we're Tim Ryan approach. Maybe Alex Bergeron levels of hanging back off the pace track. I think that's just a normal sprint car community thing at this point. But the pace track, right now, your leader, because we are under pacing. So this time by, they will be coming and picking up the green flag to start heat number 2 here at Volusia Speedway Park. You're watching, of course, the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars. And so heat number 2, we'll get this sorted out. It's going to be top 7 over an 8-lap sprint race here in the sprint cars. So 410 Wing Sprint Car of Nathan Davis is waiting and ready to go. The number 4 machine with the lime green and the white. Not a pairing of color I would normally expect on a sprint car. And then his outside is the TTL machine of Lewis Hewitt. When will Nathan Davis let that machine roll? Pace truck pulls in. Nathan Davis wastes no time. He's got himself the whole shot and quite a massive one. We're green for heat number 2.
What a jump there for Nathan. Lewis is going to slot in the 2nd spot. Corey, as we've got a couple cars tingling back there. Cody Olson's in this, as well as Bob King. Not sure what happened on the entry in towards corner number 1 and 2. Cody just sort of ran up and hit Bob. Bob was super slow in the middle of the racetrack, though. Not sure what the issue was there.
Yeah, and Cody Olson it took a while to get his car off the track, but he got that handled out there. Yeah, just a little bit of overspeed, unfortunate there. He'll have to make it up in the last chance qualifier. Lewis Hewitt throws a big slider on David Heilman in the meantime. The number 5 of Heilman versus the number 10 of Lewis Hewitt as they work their way through corners number 3 and 4, sliding a little bit up the track as Heilman, but he controls it with a little bit of off-throttle maneuvering as Corey Wenzel wants to get in, and so does Joel Berkeley. So right now, you've basically got the entire field of 1 to 7 and then nobody behind them. So all these guys have to do is finish and they will be in the finale.
A good lap there from Nathan Davis as Lewis Hewitt reeled him in a little bit of the 3.5 for Nate versus the 2.3 for Lewis, and David Heilman doing his best to work and just stick to the back of that 10 machine as they come down the back straight. You see everyone working to the top side of the racetrack. That inside and middle groove is super slick right now, and let me tell you, if this race gets any amount of green flag running, is David's going to throw a little bit of a move and try the bottom, but you can see doesn't work out whatsoever and immediately has to get back in the line as it's 2 laps to go. This place is going to be one treacherous racetrack once we get to the feature if it stays green.
You're really dancing on a razor's edge when this track gets worn in. When Volusia's worn in, it is not fun. You almost hit the wall on the exit every corner, and that front straight underneath the starter stand is scary. Nathan Davis, he'll lead us into the starter stand one more time. They will pick up the checkered flag, so heat number 2 will go to Nathan Davis, then Lewis Hewitt, David Heilman, Corey Wenzel, Kevin Click will come across, Joel Berkeley, and then Austin Matthews will finish in 7th. That means that Bob King and Cody Olson will be your consolation. Randy, we've got a consolation race, and we've got a big name in it. 2 big names in it, I would say, is Austin Selman and John Batista. But as the cars are rolling out right now, it is going to be Austin Selman leading, then Bob King, Zach McLaughlin, Cody Olson, then John Batista for a 10-lap race, where the top 4 of the top 5 go to the finale, which means that there is the potential if one of these 5 cars has an incident, they're done.
Yeah, it is. You know, there's a couple guys that I've done a couple races with John. I've seen him be quick. I've seen a couple of guys be quick in this. The fact that you see Austin Selman as the likes of Bob King and Cody and John in the last chance qualifier is a little bit hard to believe, to be honest, but here we are. I have to say the odd man out in this heat race has to be Zach McLaughlin. If I had to pick a name that I would expect not to go to the feature, it would be him, but know for a fact that when you have 10 laps on the board, sometimes people get a little bit over optimistic and try to make moves that they ordinarily wouldn't. So when it comes down to that sort of logic, pretty much anyone could find themselves on the outside looking in after 10 laps around this Volusia Speedway.
Yeah, 1 car into the wall, and that's it. Your day is D-O-N-E, I think. Anyways, either way, pace truck, lights off. Let's get this show on the road this time. By pace truck, we'll look to the safety of pit lane. We've got 5 410 wing sprint cars ready to rock and roll. Austin Selman will lead them. Bob King will be starting his outside, so don't expect Austin to just run away with them. So let's see exactly when Austin Selman will go. He's not hanging back as far else as you would normally see. And also I see Cody Olson with a RaceSpot TV logo on there, so best of luck to him out there, I suppose. So Austin Selman, that BLR machine, getting ready to light the fires and kick the tires. As that
okay,
410, yeah, I'm just saying, as he actually gives it a bit of a stutter step, and he kind of throws the field for a bit of a loop there, as they're already knocking in the back, as there was a bit of a knockout between Olson and Batista. So green flag running here for the B-Main consolation last chance qualifier, whatever you want to call it.
Austin, Bob, and Zach, they're all the way clean. Cody and John had a little bit more of a hiccup as they're trying to work themselves down this front straightaway as John Batista closes up on Cody Olson right on the back. I think that John might have a little bit more pace than that lime blue and green car as they work themselves in towards 3 and 4. Cody tries the middle. John all the way up against the wall and goes wheel to wheel with Zach McLaughlin. Cody, big impact. He's going to be, I think, our odd man looking out as Cody is stopped on that front straightaway.
Well, all he's got right now is to hope is that left front wheel seems to be lifting an awful lot. So I think he has suspension damage, and yep, that's that. So there you go. There's your guy that has been voted off of the island. So Austin Selman, Bob King, John Batista, and Zach McLaughlin are going to be going to your finale here at Volusia. So the rest of the time we can just kind of get the track a little bit worn in, get these guys used to it. And actually, Randy, at this point, it's a bit of a bonus to be getting out here running these tracks. You got to remember, Heat 1 has not ran a track this worn, and that could present issues.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Pretty much, you know, everyone who ran in Heat Race number 1 hasn't been out there, and these guys can get a little bit of a feel for what's happening out there. And that said, all these guys are definitely transferring. They're going to be keeping an eye on what exactly is happening in this race, is seeing where people are going. You see the 14 car of Bob King, he's starting to try out the bottom and putting down some pretty competitive lap times. As Austin's going to go down there and try it. He doesn't get quite low enough though, kind of slides through the slick stuff. Need to get a little bit further underneath it, I feel, and he does a little bit better job this time, but still about a car width up from where he needs to be. And now Bob King is reeling him in because of that, as Austin's pretty much just trying different lines, and now Bob's going to fight, I think, pretty much for this race win potentially, because Austin's doing anything but running the fast line, which currently I think up around the top.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the best idea right now. See what you can do, see where you can run, because you're going to be stuck in traffic when you get past this last chance qualifier. We're going to have 18 cars to work your way through, and 18 sprint cars. That's pretty crazy. Either way, lap 10 already upon us. Austin Selman, he'll get one checkered flag out of this one. He'll take victory in your last chance qualifier. So it's Austin Selman, Bob King, John Batista, and Zach McLaughlin. That is going to be going onward and upward. Now, let's take a look here. The fireworks are going to get ready to roll as the cars are pulling out onto the racing circuit right now. And present the starting grid for our race here at Volusia. Dylan Semmelman will lead us as Nathan Davis starts his outside. Alex Bergeron will be starting in third with Lewis Hewitt starting in fourth position. Cameron Dance will start fifth. It will be David Heilman, Bradley Cash, Corey Wenzel, Ryan O'Toole, Kevin Click, Alan Downey, Joel Berkeley, Travis Smith, Austin Matthews, Austin Semmelman, Bob King, John Batista, and Zach McLaughlin. Now, Randy, I honestly don't remember the last time that we had a 18-car sprint car race, but I'm a bit worried, I will say.
Especially around a track like Volusia, we know that these guys have had problems in the past. It's a fun track. It's an entertaining track, especially when you get the car dialed in. And when the track gets to get slick, it's just so tricky and it's so fun when you can get it right. It can be scary, but that's because it's so much fun as well. You see Dylan Selman doing a bit of a wheel stand. Saw him have a little bit of fun on the pace laps of his heat race, so hopefully he doesn't take that to the next step, which would consist of spinning that car and end up facing it the wrong direction. But hope for a clean race, 30 laps on the board, and I know that it's possible to do a clean race in this one. These guys just need to be patient. If I can get in there and run a handful of official races and not have any issues, these guys should be able to if they're the best of the best.
Well, they should be. Either way, the Dirt Car Nationals going on right now, and I mean that literally, and we join them here in our own virtual Volusia Speedway Park here on the iRacing service. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, strap in. We have got a 30-lap feature event, as it is the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series getting ready to rock and roll as Dylan Semmelman will lead us to the green. When will he go? He's got enough of a gap that he should be able to pull the throttle on as soon as the pace track starts to move. And I think that's why he does it. Heat King's close to the outside. Nathan Davis a little uncomfortably close to him. Bergeron tries to stutter once, tries to stutter twice. It's a little loose as Lewis Hewitt stays to the up top. And Dylan Semmelman, he hangs it out 2 seconds, and he's off and away. Massive hole shot from Alex Bergeron, as well as Bergeron runs the low side.
Out to try to slide up here in front of Nate Davis. Nate did not get the jump that he needed. Falls back into third. See him go down to the bottom. Dylan running the top here as Alex tries to work the bottom. Nate goes to the middle. Lewis Hewitt, big slide off of corner number 4. There's basically no good dirt on that top side of the racetrack coming off of 4. Alex Bergeron has the race lead as Dylan Selman trying to work the top, but that drill spill number 2 is hooked up, and he's going to lead here on lap number 3.
The new leader, the number 2 machine of Alex Bergeron, and Nathan Davis wants to run the inside as well. But he's not running it as aggressively as Alex Bergeron, as right now it looks like Dylan Selman is starting to hook up the top fairly well, but he's actually abandoning that one through 1 and 2. I think he'll probably run high side 3 and 4, low side 1 and 2. That is exactly what the plan is, to do exactly what his brother did in the late models. He will get a decent run off, and then he's just going to decide to run the high side. So it's 1, 2, 3, and here comes Nathan Davis.
Nate Davis gets good momentum in the middle. Dylan still up against the wall, is still sliding through the middle. Is that green and white number 4 of Nate Davis. Not going to have a great run off of corner number 4. Dylan's going to shut the door on him going into corner number 1, and Nate's going to try to slide up to the top of the racetrack. Has a bit of a run, but a bit of a wiggle is going to take that away. In towards 3 and 4 once again. Nate back down to the bottom and middle side of the racetrack. He's going to have that second spot for now. And things are getting dicey in the back, and I think we might have a car around on the front stretch. Yes, we do. Car upside down, but we stay green. Will we be able to? No, as that car is on his side in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was Ryan O'Toole as we get the replay right now. As he was coming off the corner, he just didn't get the throttle down. Everybody kept it pegged, which is not what you want to see, but when everyone has got people breathing down their neck, there's nothing they could really do. So just a replay coming up. The Texan, Ryan O'Toole, comes off the corner, gets a little loose, gets a nice little nab in the back, and then he rides corner number 1 and 2, quite literally, before handstanding it and flipping it upside down. So caution number 1 here of this 30-lap race. So, well, we'll see what we can do. Randy, we had a good opening stint out of that one, and for Dylan Semmelman, kind of got a bloody nose in this one.
Yeah, I think, yeah, pretty much the best way to put it is, well, Dylan's fallen back to 3rd, so not having the sort of pace that he would want. They said I've seen him be really, really quick when the track slickens off in these 410s, and maybe when we get a little bit deeper in this one, we'll be able to.
Well, of course, drivers, I'm sure, making adjustments on their aerodynamic aerofoily things on the top of their machines, as that is something the driver can certainly do, as Dylan wants to have a three-wide salute to the fans here under yellow, which is not a good idea, my young man, as he seems to be a bit of a firecracker, I gotta say, that Dylan Semmelman. But either way, they're gonna run. Lights are off on the pacing truck as Alex Bergeron leaves his standard distance. It's about 5 car lengths from him and the iRacing unmarked official pacing vehicle, as they will get ready to go green here on lap number 11. We'll have to, it'll be, 19 laps to go here for the feature for all the marbles here at Volusia Speedway Park. Alex Bergeron looking already pretty strong on the inside. Nathan Davis, he was running a pretty medium line. There you go. There's the pace truck in. Alex will roll it on. He doesn't pound it on. He rolls it on to the green, and Dylan Semmelman's already moved up to second.
And they're 3 wide for second, and Nate Davis drives it back down to the bottom and gets underneath them 5 car. David Heilman, he tossed his hat into the ring as well. Into 1 and 2, Nate's working the middle, wants to try to make something stick on Bergeron. Hiccups a little bit from Alex, but still able to keep the traction up. Dylan goes down to the bottom, clips the inside wall, and this is going to send him the wrong way here. Lewis Hewitt is going to fight for that 3rd spot up top, and I think he's going to have it as Dylan keeps that thing down to the bottom, and now David Heilman is going to take a spot away as Dylan is getting freight trained.
Nathan Davis has taken a bite out of the rear end of Alex Bergeron twice now. He has made nerf bar contact running the inside line as Nathan Davis's machine coming in. The outside line seems to be coming into play as Lewis Hewitt looks strong. And here comes Lewis Hewitt. He runs the inside line. That turquoise DTL10 machine, he runs to run the inside line. Drills from the car of Alex Bergeron. Happy to hear that as he is trying to get, he's got maybe a 5-car gap now, lap number 15. We are halfway through here as it is now Bergeron, Davis, Hewitt, Heilman, Cash, and Berkeley, as well as, I think I missed somebody in there, but meanwhile, I will say Dylan Semmelman has not been having the day that he wants to have.
He does a little bit of contact in the background between John Batista and Bob King, but no one gets sent around. Everyone's going to keep it clean as Bergeron continues to work his half a second or so lead. Nate Davis, still see him working in the middle of the racetrack, as well as Bradley Cash. Lewis going to try to work the momentum up top. Gets a bit of a run, and Nate's going to have to be absolutely picture perfect here. Through 1 and 2, Heilman's going to throw up inside of Hewitt. Hewitt tries to get a run up top, not going to be able to get enough as Nate Davis takes that line away as they're scrambling behind, as well as you have Cash, Berkeley, as well as Dylan Semmelman all fighting for positions.
Heilman wanted to run the undercut so hard, but he clipped the outside wall. Will he do it this time? That TAC3 machine, he'll move to the inside. He'll get a fairly decent grip as they'll drag race down into the starter stand as they clip away. Lap number 18, we're on 19 now, and here comes David Heilman. He's got the power. He started in 6th. He'll run a super short lines, massive slider from Dylan Semmelman. He'll try to slide 2 cars, and that 2 car has to close into 1 as it is Bradley Cash and Joe Berkeley. Berkeley run in the middle, and here comes the yellow. The flag is out right now. Looks like it is for Austin Matthews. And actually, I think, oh no, this is for Kevin Click.
Kevin Click ended up facing the wrong way. Not sure what exactly. Oh, yeah, I think you're right. He was up in the wall, and, well, he got into that 7 car of Austin Matthews. So Austin was the actual, I think, bringer out of the caution, but Kevin Click, I think, was sort of the initial causer when he caught that outside wall. And unfortunately, Mr. Matthews really nowhere for him to go as Kevin was trying to deal with faster traffic coming through after clipping that outside wall. And unfortunately, not much you can really do after that.
Yeah, and, well, it looks to me like, I gotta say, nobody likes a bringer out of the caution. But either way, looks to me like we will have another restart ready to get underway with maybe 5 laps to go, maybe 6, as it's going to be Alex Bergeron, Nathan Davis.
It'll be more than that, I think.
Is it, okay, 7?
Yep.
Yeah, because the lights will go out this time by. So it's going to be Bergeron, Davis, Hewitt, Heilman, Cash, Berkeley, Dylan Semmelman, Cameron Dance, then Austin Semmelman. So good running so far. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, it's been an amazing race thus far. If we can finish this under green, it would be great. Dylan Selman looks pacey, but does he have enough to be able to pick up spots and keep it? Nate Davis, if he gets a jump, I think he has a chance to win. Same with Heileman and Hewitt. Bradley Cash has looked quick, and you still have people who are running through the field. John Batista has been trying to work his way forward, as well as Corey Wenzel, who's, well, unfortunately gone backwards. And, of course, Austin Semmelman, who started this race in 15th. He's up tonight. Just a handful of laps to go. Who's it going to be?
Well, we will have to find out. They'll have to settle it. It looks crowded, dangerously crowded in the middle, as the pace truck will be pulling in. Here we go. So when will Bergeron go? He'll peel off the 410 wing sprint car. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 2 cars already in trouble, but they managed to sort themselves out. And we are green, hopefully, here in World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint cars.
A lot of half spins, but no one gets all the way around, and because of that, we stay green, and that's going to allow those guys in the back to spread out. Alex Bergeron works this race lead as Nate Davis is going to slide through the middle of the racetrack and bring that gap down by just a little bit. He is really hooked up in that 4-car. See him now go to the top side of the racetrack. Big gaggle of cars as well, and your mid-pack is Bob King, John Batista, Cam Danson, Austin Selman, all fight for positions. They were 3 wide across the timing beam as Austin clips the inside wall and slides up. That's going to bring out a caution, I think, as he's upside down.
Yep.
Yes, Austin is going to end this race, I think, here under yellow.
Yeah, and well, lap 26, only 2, we might have a 1-lap shootout.
They haven't gotten to the truck yet.
Might have a 1-lap shootout. That's all I'm going to say. We're behind the truck. They clipped lap 27. Now we've got 2 laps from here. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have a 1-lap shootout grab for the cash.
It'll be close. It'll be close. Just taking a look at that replay, Austin. Just need to get a second look at it here. It was a bit of an optimistic move going into corner number 1, and he sort of made the same mistake Dylan did in 3 and 4 a handful of laps ago. Just got down to the bottom and clipped that inside, and, well, he just clipped that inside and, well, setting that car up and over did Mr. Austin Selman. Fortunately, didn't take anyone else in that, but it's going to reset the field and potentially give us a 1-lap shootout here. If we don't get the 1-to-go sign here, it's going to be a game over, man. But I think you're right, Cam. I actually think we are going to get it all on the restart now, and we're guaranteed a green finish.
All right, that gets me super duper excited because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a 1-lap stand here for all the marbles. For the closeout, iRacing's #Dirt Night. No matter what, we're going to get a finish. So, the pace truck
yes, no matter what, we are going to get a finish.
That's right. No matter what, we're going to get a finish. So, the lights are out on the pace truck. Alex Bergeron will be the one with the finger on the trigger. He will shoot us off into this 1-lap dash. Nathan Davis has had good starts. David Heileman has been exciting. And Lewis Hewitt is sitting there on the outside. Then you got Berkeley and Bob King. Where will everyone land in 1 lap's time? Let's find out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you so very much for making RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive and #Dirt Night part of your Friday night. We appreciate it so very much. Alex Bergeron giving it a 1-second count. He's off and away. He's got the green, and he's got the whole shot. Nathan Davis perhaps looking to the inside line as Bergeron washes out high. Here comes Nathan Davis. Nathan Davis, he's working the outside line. He's going to leave no room for Alex Bergeron, but Bergeron throws himself to the outside line. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Will Bergeron get the power down? Yes, he will. He will claim victory here in the 1-lap dash for the cash here at Volusia Speedway Park.
What a run to the checkers, Alex Bergeron. I didn't think he was going to have it. He gave that outside wall a bit of a kiss going into 1. I saw him do something similar last night in a race, and it ended it. This time he's able to just hold on to it. Nate Davis, he made it so worthwhile. Those cautions he got through the middle of the race and came up just alongside Bergeron here as Alex is going to take the big win. And he's just driving around trying to find that victory lane, doing some weird donuts as well. Listen, Cam, you cannot take a Garmin into a sprint car out to guide you to victory lane, as Alex is going to do burnout in the actual pit road. And I think if you did that in real life, you would get hit pretty hard with a breaker bar.
I mean, you know, someone would probably throw a jack out there. But meanwhile, we'll take a look at the official race results as we watch Alex Bergeron do the donuts here at Volusia Speedway Park. It plays host to the Dirt Car Nationals, played host to this lovely 410 wing sprint car race that went to one Mr. Alex A. Bergeron. 11 minutes and 14 seconds started third, finished first. Nathan Davis will come home in the second position. David Heilman will finish in third. Lewis Hewitt comes home in the fourth position. Joel Berkeley will finish in fifth. Bob King will, Joel Berkeley, meanwhile, started in 12th position, so I'm gobsmacked by that. And if you're gobsmacked by that, Bob King started 16th and finished sixth. Cameron Dance comes home in seventh. Dylan Selman, what could have been, couldn't get hooked up on the track surface. He'll come home in eighth. John Batista comes home in ninth. Corey Wenzel in 10th. Kevin Click, he finishes the 11th position. Bradley Cash in 12th. Alan Downey in 13th. Zach McLaughlin in 14th. Austin Selman, not the night he wanted in sprint cars, took the victory in the late models, however. He'll come home in 15th as a retirement. Then you got Austin Matthews, Ryan O'Toole, then one Mr. Travis Smith. Randy, well, you know what? I gotta say, I'm not sure who had a better race tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. The late models were good, but the sprint cars, they finally stepped up. It took them 10 weeks, but I think we finally had a night where the sprint cars actually put on the better show. Couple cautions that came out, but no big, nothing really huge. The only big incident was, I would have to say, Austin Selman's little maneuver where all he ended up doing is taking himself out of the picture, and after winning the late models, he did not get the run that he would want. And Dylan Selman, he's probably going to be pretty sour after starting on the pole and running himself down in eighth. So an exciting race with a lot of movers, both positive and negative in this one.
Absolutely, and we have our race winner climbing out of his 410 wing sprint car. It is Alex Bergeron, the number 2, just getting out of his machine here at Volusia Speedway Park under the lights. Alex, congratulations, you had a massive fight. Take me through that last lap duel.
Yeah, it was very intense. I put my wing back a little bit too much on the restart because I was loose on entry, and well, I caught the wall on the front straightaway trying to save it, and I did that turn 1 wall that comes out on the racetrack. So now that was tight racing there, and I decided to run the top turn 3 and 4 to have the run, and got loose, and it was a very close finish. So that was very intense. But the rest of the race was the bottom and the middle, changing lanes, and was very, very fun.
And the track grip obviously continually pulling away from you, and just your car seemed to really come into play. Like the first 10-15 laps, the car didn't seem to be there. But once we had that caution, and once we had a little bit of time in the green flag, the car really came into it, and you were just able to throw that bottom line. You were probably the fastest one around that bottom line. Is that a line you normally are the one practicing, or is that just what hooked up tonight?
I didn't really run this line this week. I didn't really run this week, to be fair. But normally we run the top here, and this build looks like it's the bottom and the top and middle. So it's kind of like a different way to approach this track. So the bottom is just it was very hooked up tonight, and when the middle came in, I would just run the middle there, and I was fast until I think Lewis got me, or Nathan, I think, at the end. So I think, yes, it was Nathan. So it was a good race, but the track was very fun. So looking forward for next week.
And next week will be at the Eldora Speedway, the Big E. And, well, either way, we look forward to you there. We've only got 2 weeks left, only 2 races to go at iRacing Dirt Night as it stands. So looking like things are looking pretty good for you, Alex, as far as not just the point standings, but as far as positioning for the future World of Outlaws Sprint Car World Dirt Championship Series.
Yeah, for sure. I want to say a good race to Nathan at the end. I know we touched at the end after the checker flag, but it was very intense. So good, do your race to him, and we'll see you next week. And
who you want to give a shout out to before we get you out the door? Who you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks to the Drill Spill, their collective, their car racing, our Inc. VLR for the team. You guys for broadcasting. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Alex Bergeron, your race winner here in the 410 Wing Sprint Cars World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars Series. So, Alex, thank you so very much. We'll see you at the Big E.
Thank you.
And racing against him in that last lap duel was the number 4 machine of Nathan Davis, and Davis is standing alongside Randy Chenowth.
Yeah, I'm stood by with Nathan. Nathan, it was a fantastic night of racing for you. Qualified second, pretty much made it look easy in your heat race. And, well, things got all sorts of hectic in this feature as I think you fell down as far as, I think, 3rd or 4th at one point. Had the likes of Dylan out there who fell like a rock pretty quickly after making a couple mistakes. How was it on board that number 4 car?
Well, the car felt good. Track was slick, but the car felt good. I'm just glad we got some green flag laps in, better than last few weeks at least. But fun track for sure.
Talking about that, I mean, I've been doing a little bit of racing, and Alex just talked about the fact that the way you have to run this Volusia track has really changed in the last handful of builds, and I definitely felt that in the last couple nights. Explain to the viewers what you have to do when you get up there along the fence and when this track really slickens off, because it's sort of a unique experience from running any of the other circuits once things get real slick.
Yeah, once it starts slicking it off, you know, you just work your way to the top up there and get in the run. But once it gets up so high up there, it kind of reverts back to the middle and the low line. You just got to use your throttle, and you can usually pull some good runs coming off the low line, especially at 3 and 4 down the front stretch on people that are up on the high side, because pretty slick on some exits and car gets real loose. Not a good thing.
Thanks for joining us, Nate. Congratulations on a big second-place finish tonight here on Friday Night Dirt Night. You look magnificent out there. Nearly brought that one away. Just 0.04 of a second off that front nose of Alex Bergeron coming across the stripe. Before we let you go, any shout-outs? Who would you like to thank after this one?
Just Southern Indiana Lawn Care for coming on board. You guys for the broadcast. It's always fun to go back and rewatch it. Appreciate the work you all put in up there. Congrats to Alex on the win. It was a close one and good hard battle. I'll see y'all next week.
Well, see you again, Mr. Nathan Davis. Hope to see you run well at Eldora. So, Cam, I believe you're stood by with David.
Yeah, we've got David Heilman, and we'll get him in here, the number 5 machine. Well, we had a 1-lap dash for the cash, and that number 5 machine came home in 3rd. But there was so much more to the story there. You started in 6th, you finished in 3rd. Take me through it.
We're really just glad we finished this week. I really didn't have any expectations coming in. You know, I didn't have the speed I wanted. And, you know, I was just like, well, maybe they'll all crash. It'll be a wreck fest like we've seen here. Or, you know, I play it really safe on fuel. So I was like, oh, maybe they'll all run out if it goes green. Because I was just almost going to say points racing for this one. But just got some good starts. You know, inside or outside, got good starts, and, you know, was kind of just following Lewis through there. You know, didn't know what line to run at all, but, you know, overall it seemed like a fun race.
Yeah, in that last lap dash, I mean, we've seen this a couple of times where we've had a last lap or a 2-lap to go dash for. I call it dash for the cash. I know it's not at all, but it's basically what it is. And
for all the glory.
Yeah, for all of the marbles. And you guys, you got to watch really the duel between Nathan Davis and Alex Bergeron. I'm sure you much would have preferred to have been in that, but just take me through kind of your last lap there. You kind of had to defend a little from Lewis Hewitt. You really didn't have a chance to move on in, but overall, a good lap.
And like I said, I was perfectly fine finishing in 3rd. And then I was kind of pissed when that yellow came out, especially because, you know, top split broadcast, the car can't drive onto pit road. So I was disappointed to see that, you know, because I was close enough to those 2 guys too if they started racing anyways with, like, you know, if I could have had 4 green fake laps. But yeah, I was really nervous going into it. You know, I just wanted to stay finished 3rd, and, you know, that's what we did. I put myself in the position there that if those 2 tangled in front of me, I thought I might be able to squeeze by them. But, you know, they both held their lines, ran it to the line. It was great stuff by both of them.
All right, now is the time where I give you the floor. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to? Anyone at all?
First, shout out to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/IMD33 if you want to watch this broadcast of the race. Shout out to RaceSpot for putting it on. Team VLR, great group of guys. You know, as I start playing this game a little more serious. Oh, I'm sorry. Simulator. Sorry for you people out there.
Banned.
Muted.
You know, especially with the the Pro Series coming up. You know, as it gets more serious, you know, I'm glad, you know, got all my teammates, you know, to still have fun in it, you know, keep it kind of as a game, you know. But Tyler Burrow put the paint scheme on my car, TAC 3, Burberry Designs. Yeah, all in all, it was a good night. I'm really happy with it.
All right, well, with that we get to put the we got Joel Berkeley actually. No, we get another.
Nah, you don't want to talk to Joe.
We'll get to talk to Joe Berkeley. But either way, David, thank you so much for hopping in the booth with us. Appreciate it, and we'll see you hopefully at the Big E.
We're gonna miss that one. Yeah,
well,
they're not gonna be there.
Maybe we can see it for the finale at USA. How about that?
Yep, hopefully we'll be there for that one for sure.
Number 5 of David Heilman, thank you so much for hopping in. We'll see you. And Randy, you are going to be standing alongside with our Australian of Joel Berkeley. Joel, before we get you with Randy, what time is it?
It's 1:19 p.m. here.
See, well, there you go. Either way, Randy, take it away.
I'm stood by with the Australian representative here, Mr. Joel Berkeley. Joel, I almost called you Joe because I'm not good. Joel, is a good run from you. You had to sort of start from pretty deep down this field. It started 12th, managed to work your way up to 5th. Saw a number of people who started out in front really fall down this order, most notably pole sitter Dylan Selman, who went from 1st to 8th. Why do you think that was? Why did some people take to this track well and other people not at all?
I don't know. Dylan was talking before the race. He was hoping for a slick track. I thought he must have thought he had it in the bag, but obviously got proved he didn't have much in the end there.
Well, it's not the first time Dylan said some things he might regret this week, but that's beside the point. But it's weird because I'll actually say I saw Dylan be very, very quick on slick racetracks in some races before this one. So it was weird to see Dylan struggle the way he did tonight. But we finally got a clean World of Outlaw race here at Volusia. It only took nearly a year. How was it out there, though, with that, being able to actually race under green wheel-to-wheel with guys at this place?
It was very different. I don't think I've ever had that in a long time. I don't get much time to race during the week, and yeah, I just usually run the strength field race because, well, that's all I can do these days. But it's actually good to have one that went clean for once and good racing.
Eldora next week, you going to put it in the top 5 again?
What's next week? Yeah, I'll be here next week. Yeah, I'll be here.
You going to put it in the top 5?
I'm going to put it in Victory Lane, I hope.
Hey.
Well, good luck to you on that, Joel, and getting yourself down on towards Victory Lane. Before we let you go, any shout-outs or who would you like to thank?
Yeah, it's a massive thanks to the boys at TTL Esports, Ash Media, Speedway Footage Down, the graphics, Hyper Simulator, and everyone else that helps out and makes it all possible.
If you're joining us, Joel, good luck next week.
Thank you. Thank you for broadcasting it.
You are more than welcome. Cam, that's all the interviewees, and did the sprint car guys finally live up to the hype?
Yeah, I think so. I think we did good. But right as we were saying goodbye to Joel there, Hugo was showing a part where we literally doored somebody into the wall. So
it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. All right. Well, I mean, hey, I can think we can put our hat on this one. This race went very well. The Dirt Car Nationals, hopefully proud of these guys, at least for this time. So as the dirt schedule gets started in the real world, we are getting underway here with only 2 weeks remaining in the iRacing season. And then, obviously, we'll set our sights on the future, quote, unquote. However that may work itself out. We're going to have series qualifying, surely, and then we're going to have, hopefully, the season after that, our World Championship Series. So, iRacing Dirt Night, the days unfortunately are coming to an end, but we'll see however that works out in the future. First off, I'd like to thank everybody here who has been watching over the weeks. We've got 2 weeks to go. Hopefully we can make them a good one. And Hugo, I think it's about time to start the music. By the way, my name has been Cameron Walsh. He has been Randy Chenowth. That has been Hugo Louis in the production. Our overlay design, of course, and Orn Design. Overlay animation by Apgeneer, and our live timing by RaceSpot TV. Live timing. So with Nick Fisson. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we close out week number 10 of iRacing Dirt Night with the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series coming out on top for the first time ever. Oh, we congratulate Mitchell DeYoung on his victory at Phoenix in his Volkswagen GRC machine. We congratulate Austin Settlement for his victory in his super late model. We congratulate Alex Bergeron for his victory in the 410 Wing Sprint cars. So for everyone here at RaceSpot TV, thanks for making us part of your day. We will catch you next time. See you later.